I think we got me, guys. What's up? What's up? What's up? How we doing? I see we already had 4 people chilling here waiting. Nice. I love it. It's down to 3 now. Acceptable. How are we doing? Someone say hi to me. Let me get this posted out places too. What's up? What's up? What's up? Nick, first one in here. First one to say hello. I appreciate you. How you doing today, sir? I'll be joining the spaces at 3:15 p.m. Eastern is what time I think Gerg is starting that space today. So should be a good talk. We'll have that stuff. I'll break the numbers the second I get them. NVIDIA earnings should be out at 4:20 p.m. Eastern, by the way. 4:20 p.m. Eastern is what time to expect those. Boom. Let me get some stuff out. Out. All right. That is ouch. Yeah. Posted onto Instagram. Let's get over to the Discord. Throw this in there. Hit the people notifications. Jim, what's up? What's up? Quiet day. There's been some decent volume over the last hour or so ish, but yeah, the delay's better now. Good. It should. I put it down to ultra low latency, so it should literally be 5 seconds. We'll see how it sounds on the spaces. I'm live for NVIDIA earnings. Come join me. Come join me and say hi in the chat. At notifications. There we go. Let's post it on threads too. Oh, Kale. First time I've seen you in the chat. Welcome. I appreciate it. And I think I have the chat in subscriber only mode, so you might have to be subscribed to say hello there. Whale, hello there. Let's post it onto threads too. NVIDIA earnings incoming. I'm live on YouTube and be reading out the numbers the second they're out. Come join me. All right, that is out as well. Always checking your Insta for daily news. Nice. Cal, question for you. Do you use Twitter at all? Twitter is my main place for anyone that doesn't know. I really want to try and get more people from the Instagram over here because you guys never see these spaces. You only get the live content, which is great, but you're missing so much. So much of the stuff that I really think is some of the best things that I do, honestly. So, Kale, and if I'm saying that wrong, apologize. It's kind of what it looks like. Hang by, and we'll be getting some good conversation going through the spaces in a minute. Just some really smart people will be talking on there. It is hosted by Gerg today, so we'll be its own thing. But yeah, we got about an hour or so until those numbers are released. Let me get the earnings hub in front of me. Earnings Hub. If anyone doesn't know earningshub.com, I actually do some work with them, but it is a great product. I love your Insta, and I see you reposting your tweets. Yeah, Kel, that's literally how I grew the entire Instagram, which is funny. You guys could see this right here in the bottom right, correct? This is what Wall Street is guiding for. So the numbers are expected to be out at 4:20 p.m. Eastern. The earnings call is at 5 p.m. Eastern for NVIDIA. Wall Street's expecting EPS of $5.59, which same quarter last year, they reported $1.09. I am at 750% in the green with NVIDIA. Hope to reach 1,000. Nice. Oh, Cal, Nick is from Germany as well. I'm actually trying to get a little trip together to go to Oktoberfest, go to Munich. And I was surprised. If I would have thought Oktoberfest would be all in October. No, it starts on September 21st, which is weird. Ali, does the stock that rhymes with India report today? No, I don't think so. NVIDIA. Here we go. Snowflake earnings as well. I'm really excited for this one. I can't lie. EPS is expected to be 18 cents. Revenue $785 million. 4:05 p.m. Eastern is what time that should be out. I always recommend your Insta to people that are new to stocks. I appreciate that. That's what I'm really trying to make that the Insta very new person friendly. First thing you get into the market, like there's so much craziness you can go in and do, and whether it's going on margin, buying options, call options on GME, like there's so much stupid stuff you can do. And the ways you should be starting into the market. I'm a big proponent of starting lower on the risk spectrum, starting with ETFs, the QQQs, the VOOs. If you're from Germany, maybe you're looking at a Europe ETF or a full world thing, or maybe even you come over and buy some US stocks too. But starting with these broad-based market ETFs and then working your way down the risk spectrum as you learn more, I think is a strategy that I have implemented for my personal self. And, no one shoe fits all, but I enjoy that as a method for telling people there. So this should be an interesting one. I'm studying international finance, and with you, I am always up to date in lectures. I hope I'm giving you some good language to dunk on these people with. I actually was a finance major with an international business minor, so I actually do have an IB minor. A little bit ago, though, NVIDIA dumping here, 940. I thought it was like 950 before. Where is she? Here. Oh, it's actually not too bad. Oh, this is the 1 day, though. Let's move this over to 5 minute. Little comeback. Got down as like 930. She's moving today. This is when we opened. Yeah. Opened at like 960, 957. Now we're hanging around 940. Not bad, actually. We'll see. Like I said, I've been saying, we're going to be joining that Spaces in like a minute or two. Where in Germany are you from? I want to go to Dortmund because of Borussia Dortmund. I want to go to a game there. And then Munich and Berlin. Berlin was escaping me. Oh, Stuttgart. I won't lie to you. My entire knowledge of Germany, Spain, England, Italy really is all just through soccer. Soccer. You're going to cringe when I say that, but football. If I say football, you're going to think I'm talking about American football, though. All right, got about an hour 10 till we get NVIDIA earnings. Hour 10. Hour 10? Hour 10. We're going to be joining the space in like 5 minutes or so. Let's check the all-time highs, 52-week highs today. 52-week high list isn't that crazy. Analog Devices, Bank of America, Boston Scientific, Citi, Costco. There's a good amount of names. We'll start posting some of them, actually. All these stocks hit new 52-week highs at some point today. Let me check what that DM is. Nothing crazy. All right. Analog Devices, ADI. That felt wrong when I was typing it. Amphenol, APH. Bank of America. Banks are a lot of banks on this 52-week high list. Citi, Boston Scientific first. I spelled that wrong. Citi, Costco, Danaher, no. First Solar. I've seen a lot of the like solar names. I feel like there's a better word that I'm looking for there. Like alternative energy, I guess, maybe. But those names have been pretty strong today. Not just the solar names, too, like other categories. Johnson Controls. A lot of volume there. Welcome to the chat, anyone who's just getting in here. Say hello. I would like to know who's in here. I just love the discussions in the lectures. One of my professors working for Commerce Bank and is like a director there, and I really enjoyed my my international business lectures. It was just a good time. There's a lot of like use cases, and I genuinely enjoyed it. I learned a lot. I just think we had good discussions, and I was very engaged. XP Semi. Ductor. I'm having a little trouble spelling there. Everyone who is here, give this guy a like. You said it, not me. I'm here for a little like on the stream. We're trying to get up to the watch hours. If you don't know, you need to get to 4,000 watch hours before you can make money on YouTube. And let's be real, we have 16 people in here. We're not going to make much money from it. But still, $1 is better than 0, So we're getting close to it. I went to Ohio State. Yeah, Fisher School of Business. Fisher. And by my voice, you know that I am not too old. I am actually 25. So I graduated now, I think about like 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years, which is scary. In the real world. So like, a lot of names did hit 52-week highs today. Some of them have pulled back, but pretty strong day. None of the mega cap names, you know? Vertex. No, we'll include Vertex. The RTX. Anything down here? Walmart. Welltower. Williams-Sonoma. I feel like they had earnings. I could check that. All right, and let's fix the order up a little bit here. Walmart will be up front. Costco. Bank of America and Citi too. I think First Solar might hang out down here. Yeah, I might keep a lot of these names down here. Already you finished the tweet. What is your opinion on China? After you finish the tweet, okay, whatever. On China and the development in the last couple of months and weeks. What specifically, though? There's a lot been happening there. I'm also not the biggest like macro head in the world, but it's been interesting. They're starting to pump some stimulus into that economy. But like a lot of the U.S. names have been struggling a little bit. And I saw that they were close to announcing some new tariffs. Reaction to the tariffs that we put on. So it just seems like a tit for tat type thing, but both economies really kind of need each other. I don't know. I do have some more like geopolitical macro thoughts about it, but that's more pie in the sky. If this then's that type situations. Ingersoll Rand. Oh, I missed Intuitive Surgical too. This place has Intuitive Surge. I was in green for a long time with my ETF. I sold them back. Ooh, what ETF though? Is that like KWEB or something? KRE, a Chinese ETF? Is that what we're saying? So many people are China long now, but I'm unsure about that. I'm not a big China person just because of like the Chinese stocks. Because of the kind of overhang risk of, you know, any CCP order might come down and all of a sudden, what the hell? All of a sudden oh my God, what just happened? All right, all of a sudden you're fucked. What happened to those education stocks a couple of years ago? I wish I could invest in China. That's a very strong population of people that's growing, and you know how many people have been taken out of poverty there and are entering a middle class is definitely an investable area. It's just the policies have made it difficult from a stock perspective. So I'm a little bit like I'm not bearish on it per se, but I don't really get into it personally. I'd rather just stay in the U.S. and take away some of that risk. How old are you? Take a guess. What's your name as well? I'm sorry, I do not know how to read Hebrew. I could maybe try. I'm not gonna get anything out of it. Yeah, give me a name though, like an English thing I could say. But I'm investing in India right now. Close. I'm 25. I've heard some like 18 guesses on here, so I'll take a 25. Is Gerg about to go live? Come on, Gerg. We'll be joining in the spaces in a second, by the way. Don't you? Talem. Heard. I like the name. Is this kid gonna open it? Not yet. All right. All right. I'm trying to say it as uncontroversial as you can. I respect it. 4:20 p.m. Eastern, NVIDIA earnings. We're now about an hour away. These are what's expected. Look at the way it's grown, though. Like EPS, they went from $1.09, $2.70, $4, $5.15, and we're expected to be $5.59 right now. I already said this. Expectation, $24.65 billion, $25.13 billion. I have no reason to think that. That's the number I'm going with. $25.13 billion. is what I'll say. And I also made the claim out there that if NVIDIA opens trading tomorrow at $1,100 or higher, I will. I'm going to be voting for Jensen Huang for president of the United States. Done. So we'll see. Now he can't win because he's not from the U.S., but we'll see. All right, I got to text her to start this thing. Start it. I called him ugly too. We'll see if that gets an answer. Do you think NVIDIA will announce a stock split? A lot of other people seem to think a stock split will be coming. I do not. I don't think we see a stock split here, so I'm ready to be pleasantly surprised. A lot of the people I talk to, though, seem to be very sure that a stock split is coming. To each their own. We'll see. But we'll see. The NVIDIA number is going to come up here. Snowflake should be out first. There we go. Girk's live. Oh, wrong account. Join in the spaces. Do you think there's any chance they will increase their dividend? They haven't so far. It's been stuck at that 4-cent number. I'm not going in with my expectations thinking that we're going to be getting anything like that, truthfully. Maybe, though. We'll see. I'll ask some of these questions on the spaces where we'll have a bunch of people in there, so it should lead to a good conversation. And I'm going to say hi in that spaces now and start talking there a little bit. All right, Gerg, what's up? The Gurgler.
Yeah, what's up?
Oh, you sound horrible.
Horrible, okay.
Are you on the glasses?
Maybe.
Get off. Wait, Wolf. Wolf just got the glasses today, too, by the way. You don't sound horrible, but you don't sound as good as usual.
How about now?
How about now? I think it's still the same.
Really?
Is there a possibility for subscribers to join the discussion? It's like, not this one, honestly. Spaces are a little bit difficult, unfortunately.
Yeah, Wolf, what's up?
Good talk. Or can I just not hear him?
I can't hear Wolf.
Yeah, Wolf's not talking.
Paul, what's up, man?
Spaces has been glitchy as hell, and I do see a lot of changes on Spaces.
Good things or bad things?
Unnecessary thing. For example, if I click on someone to add them, it's a different font than it used to be last month. Like, the team is focusing on stuff that is not needed instead of fixing,
You know why? It's low-hanging fruit. The ones they can say they've been innovating spaces that's easy for them to do.
Innovation.
Like, they should be focusing on making them stable, because as soon as we get over 1,000, it starts to glitch.
We'll see. I don't hold my breath on anything. Meta considers new paid deals with media publishers for AI training data. Interesting. That won't move anything, but...
I believe Netflix was the first one who they sold their messenger chat logs to.
So, Gerg, you excited for these NVIDIA earnings? How we feeling? What's the general Gergavin vibe?
I mean, the question should be, how much will NVIDIA beat by? Not will it beat by, or will it beat?
How much does it need to beat by?
To be honest, expectations are very, very high, and I'm looking at the numbers. Since the last week, they're up like $4 billion. Like, the tweet I just posted was from last week, the numbers that I compiled. And let me look at the current numbers on Bloomberg, what they are.
Yeah, there's been non-stop upward revisions on NVIDIA for like the past 2 months. So expectations are really high for sure.
Dude, that's what I saw this morning. I thought it was 22.4 billion, and then I see Gertz, it's 24.8.
No, Bloomberg is 24.69, and data center is 21.06. Gaming is 2.6 billion. Automotive, who cares? But it's 300 million.
Chat, how does he sound?
Professional is $500 million.
Sounds good?
But you know what's nuts?
Like, he doesn't sound amazing on my end, but the
gross
volume.
margin expected to hit 77%. 77 freaking % on a hardware company.
Is that good?
Software margins, that's wild.
I don't know. Is that good? I can't tell.
77% gross margin.
Their business isn't supposed to be above 50%. Like 50% is supposed to be like the holy mecca of margins. So 77 is like absolutely wild.
Like Intel, that in its early days was high 50s, low 60s, as far as I remember correctly. It never crossed the 70 handle. It's expected to be 565, which is like 350% year-over-year growth. No, 430% growth year-over-year.
Yeah, for EPS.
Just think about that for a second.
Yeah. Well, I was looking on the earnings hub thing they have, and it shows you kind of like the last like 5 years of numbers and how they compare to expectations. Like, it's kind of
playing the earnings.
What? Oh,
I don't have the kahunas to play it.
Oh,
I'm on the sideline for sure.
I totally was talking there on mute for a little bit. Unfortunate.
I was like, why is the card so dead today?
Slightly higher than me. That's actually not bad. I'm not terrible about it. But yeah, I was looking on Earnings Hub over like the last, like, it gives you like the last 5 years of the data that they have and compared to expectations. Like, the last year is just up and to the right compared to the rest one. It's pretty funny to look at, actually.
Can you post a picture of that if you have it?
Yeah, I do. I actually already did. Let me pin it up in the nest above. I did
so here's a question I think we need to ask. Since May 2021, the revenue growth was 64% CAGR. The operating income for NVIDIA was 103% over these 3 years. So do we think that number continues to go higher? Because that's what's saying the business itself is getting better besides just the revenue. And if it does, I think this is where the street gets really excited about it.
There's only so many quarters you can do that at the size of NVIDIA, though. You know?
Yeah.
It's an absolute beast.
I mean, also, they can't fulfill the demand. That's the issue. Like, they want to be able to do more, it's just they're not able to. So that's the biggest handcuff.
Do you guys think Jensen's going to be like... I mean, every time I hear him, he sounds like he's talking to, like, children, dude. The analysts are like, so what's going on with AI?
What's your average on NVIDIA, and would you invest right now based on the reasonable PC?
Do you think there's a tone switch in his voice?
So, Will, my average cost is $75. I bought in, like, 2018, 19, 20, 21, and have been holding here. So, no, I would not be interested in buying anymore because I already own too much. There's no price I can envision myself buying more, but I've held the entire thing. I've not even sold out my initial cost basis yet. If we get one more massive jump here, I probably will make that first sale and just take out what I put in. But yeah, I'm sitting here up 1,100% right now in my NVIDIA position, which doesn't happen. But you get those one or two winners that really come in and fill all the losers in. It makes things work.
The story's not true. So, for people that don't know what we're talking about, there was a Financial Times story yesterday that said that there was a potential Osborning going on with the Blackwell and the H100 and H200s, and the Financial Times reported that yesterday. Everyone was kind of running with it, and then Amazon came out yesterday night and said the story is not true, and that they are only transitioning their orders for a very specific project. It's an upcoming supercomputer project with NVIDIA that Amazon has called Project Seba. And they said for the case of Project Seba specifically, we are foregoing H100 and H200s and choosing to use Blackwells instead. So that was just a clarification of the story. But yeah, what we talked about yesterday on the Spaces was not true. So Amazon just denied that story yesterday.
Perfect example of everyone just fishing for some kind of bearish take on NVIDIA because it's just dominating, and everyone just sucked in that one headline and was just like hammering on it. Like, see, there's going to be some kind of air pocket and demand. Clearly not the case. I love that Amazon took forever to respond to, like a full 12 hours.
They responded like around 4 p.m. yesterday, so it wasn't that long.
Oh,
but,
okay.
There was more articles about it this morning about how like people were trying to FUD the air pocket and demand and all that stuff at the end of the year. But the margin conversation you guys were bringing up earlier is something that's, more nuanced because the
less than an hour, chat. Here we go.
But
are you in
shift
quantum
with
stock?
two things.
Quantum computing stock.
the strategy they used to address any
did I buy
potential
some
inventory
TTUM?
gluts in the previous generation of chips, right?
No,
Which
it's definitely not a
the
big position for
obvious
me.
strategic decision would be there.
I
Okay,
own a
just
little bit
discount the
of
H100s to
Defiance's
H200s
Quantum
so you can
ETF.
clear
The
inventory.
ticker is
The problem is, I don't know if they need to clear
QTUM,
inventory. I mean,
but like
H100 and
a
H200
tiny
can be,
amount for my
still be
portfolio. I
fantastic.
won't lie.
They may
But a
not
little
see
bit,
any
some
sort
exposure
of
there.
cannibalization between Blackwell and H200.
I fucked up
Maybe
in an
they are,
average
but I mean,
at...
they'd have to provide us insight on the call about that. So
I
that
can't see
could
what the
be
average was.
a potential
Oh
softening
no,
of
I meant to put
margins
bump.
and discounting prior generations.
Average at
inventory.
130, but sold
And
at
then
400. Will, did you buy back in at all?
AMD really does hit the stride.
I mean, hey, you paid less taxes. 35 people currently in here. Hello, hello. Paul, we're gonna kill it on the watch hours for this one.
Those are just two potential factors. They haven't come
Welcome.
into play.
44.
So
Something's
I don't know if
happening.
they'll come into play this quarter or at all.
All right, you guys are probably
this
gonna
year.
leave before. This can't be real. All right. We also, I don't want to spend too much time on it, Gerg. You watch Snowflake at all?
I do like the company. They have a good product, but the stock is just too expensive for me.
Yeah. They have the numbers coming out at 4:05 p.m. Eastern today,
they
too.
had some news about Amazon, the partnership being extended.
Yeah, it came out from the... No, I think it was Microsoft. It was Microsoft.
Amazon? But let me double check.
I was, the CEO tweeted out. I quote retweeted him. Hopefully I can get that little, like, hey, this stock market news guy covers Snowflake.
You know, maybe next event.
Yeah,
get them on, you know.
Lay the groundwork in.
I do see you hustling to get that Microsoft in the white, you know.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Google in the white too, you know.
I've got some people work at NVIDIA sliding into my email now, but it's just not the right person. It's not the right conversations. We'll see.
You want the IR people. You don't want, those...
No, I'm talking... It's a lot of, like, the marketing side people, but I need some more investor relations. We'll see, though. But, hey, stock market news at an NVIDIA event coming soon.
Yeah, you never know.
You heard it here first.
I did see Jensen Huang last month in SF. I flew to a Stripe event just to see him talk.
Monative, you should come up here. I'd love to hear your thoughts around this one. I know it's a name you cover a bunch. But yeah, 4:20 p.m. Eastern, NVIDIA numbers coming out. I'm excited. Gerg, do you know what the forward guidance expectation is for NVIDIA, what Wall Street wants them to guide towards for revenue next quarter? Is it like, my guess, off the top, pulling it out of my ass, would be like 26 billion. 26.
Let's see.
Jeffrey in my chat said if NVIDIA misses, it will recover within 1 week. His next word was can't miss.
To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, neither would I. We like, I know Shy on that last space, we were talking a little bit about Palo Alto, and how that name got bought back a little bit, and maybe how that one could be different. Want to tell us more about that?
Yeah, I mean, Palo Alto's, are we talking to me, Evan?
Yes.
Yeah, so Palo Alto's issue is just purely a duration of their deals. They're setting themselves up for like a really dominant 2025, and everyone's just freaking out about their 3% billings growth, which essentially is like their customers just kicking the can
I
down
could
the
see that
road,
situation happen, Jeffrey.
due to the deal size that they have.
Let's get these down to the
just
5-minute candles.
They didn't really trickle in this quarter, and also they're giving away free products to incentivize the platformization. So it's a near-term head bump, but it's still absolutely essentially a blue-chip cybersecurity company. And for NVIDIA,
Let's get the stream on top, Paul.
This pricing power that they have, like, it's not going away. It might slightly diminish. Like, the margins might go from 77% to, like, it's still going to be over 70% in my opinion. Like, might be a little dent, and knowing that, I do think the dip's going to get bought, like, hand over fist. Especially since we're in the
It depends
early
how they
part of
miss.
this, theme, in my opinion. Like, we're not at the end of the S curve. Like, we're fully...
Like, if they miss a tiny bit on
first
numbers
2
here, and then
years
forward
of
guidance
this,
is
who knows how
strong, and they
long
still
of
think the
a
outlook is, I could see it. But if they say, like,
power
hey,
that they're gonna have,
we expected
space,
AI to
it
come in
might
a little
be
bit hotter,
5 or 6
they're
years, who
fucked.
knows? All I know is that we're still in
They're fucked.
we're closer to the beginning than the end, and I think a lot of people know that. So any kind of near-term price dip will get bought up. Like, this stock will not go down 15%. It will not go down 20%. I think it's just gonna be. It's been basing a bit. If it does, if there's a slight guide up on their forecast, I do think it goes up fine, maybe 6 or 7%. But I think it's gonna get bought up. Like, it's just such a superior company that has such a first user advantage in an industry that nobody really knows the ceiling on.
50
yet. Like,
minutes, 50
everyone is
minutes.
grasping at air of like, oh, well, it's going to be at this TAM.
Callie,
it's gonna be this
I'm
kind
for
of
it. Callie, sorry if I'm saying your name
Nobody
wrong.
really knows. All we know is it's on
Sorry for
fire
cussing.
right now, and NVIDIA is the best way
What's
to
up, brother?
play it. And it's best of breed names always have a V-shaped recovery on any kind of big gap down. That's just my 2 cents on it.
Shay, do you think they're doing a split?
I think a 4 to 1, 5 to 1, but I don't think they'll do it if they have a bad earnings. Like, I think it's bad corporate governance if they're trying to cloud their poor results with a split. Like, it's exactly why Mercado Libre really hasn't done it. Like, everyone wants them to, but I do think they do. It's over 50% chance I think they do a split. No chance to do a 10 to 1 split, in my opinion. I think it's going to be.
Wait, why? Why wouldn't they do 10?
It's still, I mean, they've had a massive run of, like, let's just say, like, they do a 10 to 1 split, and essentially, like, it's going to be like $90 a share. Sure,
I don't
like,
see a 10 for 1 split.
Naturally, there's going to be a psychological level bump of 10% to get to the 100. Just
I don't
there's always
see a
a
10.
magnet psychologically. I don't know why. There always is. But if this software component of NVIDIA takes longer to kind of trickle into their revenue stream, it's still, at the end of the day, pretty cyclical, and there might be some kind of air pocket of demand. I don't think there is going to be. If there is, the stock will get hit. And
Let's look through some of the predictions for where they think will open trading tomorrow.
10 to 1, and like then goes in $60, $70 range. And I don't know. I think it's just
over 1030.
I just my 2 cents. It could easily do 10 to 1. I just don't think they'll do
No,
that.
I kind of agree with you. When I saw Amazon and Google's stock splits, which I think were 20 to 1 if I'm not incorrect, but were like a significant number. But I saw those as, hey, we want to get into the Dow Jones. And I just don't see NVIDIA as a Dow Jones company at this point in time. Maybe I'm wrong, but...
No, I just imagine, Devin, you just wake up tomorrow.
And it's in the Dow? I'll take it. I mean, hell, why not? But
Intel gets kicked out, you know?
I could say I don't see a stock split coming this quarter, but I'm happy to be wrong. Oh, we also, what? Do we think our 4-cent dividend is going to become 5 cents or something? Or are we sticking at 4 cents?
Who cares about that, to be honest?
Damn, Spy's got a couple back-to-back.
This guy said 2,000 minimum NVIDIA opens trading at tomorrow.
I'm looking at NVIDIA. The last split was 2021 in July. And that was after their annual meeting where they raised their authorization. So right now, based on the authorization that NVIDIA has, they could only do, 3 to 1. But I feel like if NVIDIA will, go with the historic timeline, waiting for their annual shareholder meeting to raise the number of shares outstanding, and then announcing that would make more sense.
You know what, Gerg? That was a good point from you. I'll give you the credit on that one. It doesn't happen often, every once in a while, but when it does, we got to give you the flowers for it. So that's a fair point. Rare, exactly, rare. It's how Gerg likes his steak.
I need to shout out to him. I was talking to my friend last night about that, so he brought that up.
So it wasn't Gerg. Okay, that makes more sense. It came from someone else, and okay. Now we got it.
Evan, I thought you were going to go with you have friends, but that works too.
No, actually, surprisingly, the Gerg online is not the same Gerg I met in person. Gerg in person was a nice, chill guy. I could see friends.
Is it because he's 10 years older than his profile picture?
Could maybe be. Maybe time for a new little profile picture we got coming.
My picture is over 10 years old, but now everybody knows this, and I can't change
NVIDIA
it
needs to increase market cap by 35% to become the number one company in the world, passing Microsoft.
A full mustache?
Not 8, probably when I was 10, I had facial hair. 11, I had some.
Actually, that's wild.
It's crazy.
Good.
Bro, I had it at 13.
Guys.
It's a tough life. The life that Gardner and I are living in for middle school. We were like the first hairy ones for sure.
I kind of like that,
You didn't like it in high school, though. Come on.
I did.
Dude, I had my beard at fucking 3 years old, so it's like...
Jeez.
Bro, yeah,
and
the
Evan
worst
still
part
can't
was
grow
the
facial
uni.
hair.
The uni was the worst part in middle school. I was like, oh my god. This is growing dick.
The thing about Evan is his beard doesn't connect even now, so I saw him last month with Gav.
To be fair, though, that was me not shaving for a little bit, but it still doesn't connect at the bottom quite. But you're shorter than me, so you see that,
So how does AI solve this?
It looks like it needs a little bit. Oh, 35% move. 2.37, 2.327 times 1.35. 3.1. It looks like it might even need like a 40% move. Was no one talking there for a good minute?
Yeah, I thought
Oh, I'm wearing the Meta glasses, and I just keep thinking that my sound is lost or something like that.
They're great. I told you about them.
I was gonna say,
I bought
God,
them.
your voice is really clear right now.
No, it's clearer on the other
nice.
ones though. Your AirPods are clearer. Let's be real.
Yeah, probably makes sense.
To be fair,
It's so weird not wearing headphones, but hearing like I'm wearing headphones.
the camera was better on the Snapchat ones, the spectacles that were out 3-4 years ago, but they had no way to do a call.
Bruh, if you wear those Snapchat spectacles in public,
For anyone wondering, NVIDIA needs a 37% move off of earnings to be the largest company in the world. And that's assuming Microsoft doesn't move. Shout out to Jeffrey for sparking me doing that math.
That doesn't sound that impossible in a year, to be honest.
In a year, yeah. No, that's definitely doable. But that also assumes Microsoft doesn't move. But for the record, if NVIDIA has weak numbers here, they're probably going to fall back behind Google.
So NVIDIA is at 2.33 trillion, Google is at 2.18 trillion.
Yeah.
Amazon 1.9.
Tesla moving up a little bit, back up into 13th place.
Berkshire is down to 900 billion. I just told Berkshire hit a trillion before Warren Buffett passes away.
I think it will. Apple's.
They need 12% in.
I got to ask, what is Apple's AI story? Jeffrey says it seems weak.
Who's Jeffrey?
Guy in the live chat. It shocks me that Spaces doesn't have a live chat. I absolutely love this. People asking questions, and also lets you like connect with the people, so I know who's listening. You know, so live chat is number one thing we need. Number one.
What do you guys think happens to AMD if NVIDIA crushes? Do they just go up or
Crushes as in good or bad?
What do you mean crushes? Crushes earnings or stocks that crush? Like, what do you mean by crushes?
I mean they crush earnings, guidance, beat, raise, $26 billion, but AMD's last quarter was absolute horrendous. It was bad. So I'm curious if AMD gets any sympathy, even if NVIDIA does well.
They will. It's a high tide raises all boats.
And I wouldn't say AMD's last earnings were horrific. What I would say is just that.
Oh yeah, that's funny. I guess everyone loves these glasses.
Labeled as a beneficiary of the pricing power of this industry. Like, they're still a beneficiary of the overall environment in the GPU arena, if you will, improving. So, look, the role that AMD has, in my view, is several quarters down the road, maybe even several years down the road, they become the high volume, lower price point player. And that may not happen.
But that's my point. If it's several years away, it's already trading at a rich premium. Do you think the market prices that in just because NVIDIA?
Depends on what industry growth looks like in the background, right? If industry growth is healthy enough to support the narrative that there could be a high volume player around the corner, then yeah, I think they do well. But if industry growth is pretty muted compared to NVIDIA's personal growth, that's a different story.
Is anyone playing NVIDIA?
I do have a little self bet that I made with myself that if it opens trading at $1,100 or more tomorrow, I'm voting for Jensen Huang for president. Does that count?
Playing NVIDIA, do you mean having options through the earnings?
Yeah,
Is that what you mean?
Correct.
No, I do not, and I think you'd be crazy to do it. I don't know what the IV looks like on them, but I imagine it's big. I don't know if you saw the Goldman Sachs stat earlier, Gerg, but
30% of all options?
Yeah, 36% of all single stock options. That's crazy.
3 months, yeah.
There's 17,000 calls open for the $1,000 strike on Friday.
And what's the price right now for that?
I think it's $1,890.
Boeing plane deliveries to China have been delayed in recent weeks.
$1,890?
Yeah, I'll tell you right now.
It is. Goodness. How are you supposed to profit on that?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's $18.85. So it's $18.85.
You can't make money.
No,
on that. There's like no way.
No. That's not that bad, to be honest. That's 8% break even.
It's tough. It's tough with options. The stock that's $950. You know, so fair enough.
Dude, and 9,000 of those contracts were traded today. That was the volume on it today. So, like, people were actually trading it.
I'm seeing 24,000 on volume on Bloomberg.
Oh, so yeah, this is for 4 hours.
24,000 now, yeah.
Yeah, 27.5K volume. The IV on them's not. I mean, it's high. It's not insane. It's 135.
I mean, the implied move is 9.6% from Bloomberg for NVIDIA for 1 day. And these need a 7.6% break even.
Where does that put it at?
Updated, Gert.
A what?
Was that from this morning or is that updated? Because I saw 10.8 earlier. I don't know.
This is from right now.
Okay.
And what'd you say the percentage was? Sorry, I missed it. 8%? 10%?
No, 9.5, 9.6% is the implied one they move for NVIDIA. But these options have a 7.6% break even.
So
for
upside that is 1,035 about 950.
No, 1,018 is your break.
No, I'm saying with the implied move, if it goes to upside 9.5%, that puts you at 1,030. Is what I'm saying.
Correct. So you double your money on these calls, which but would be much higher than that because you still have a day and a half before it.
And then it looks like 860 on the downside is where it would get you to. Just based on that implied move. So 860 to 1030 is kind of the range it's implied in.
So there is another way to play the options. Me and a friend did this as well on NVDL, which is the 2X NVIDIA fund. We sold 5 puts at $38, and we collected like $750 in premium for $19,000 in collateral. And so it's at 42 right now. It's probably going to go down, 15, 20% if NVIDIA goes down. Call it, 7, 8%. But if NVIDIA goes up 7, 8%, then those puts are going to expire worthless, and it's not the worst premium today.
It's 43 now.
One thing also which is interesting about those kind of leveraged single stock ETFs, I know we all know options don't trade in after hours following the earnings, but these ETFs do. So I would imagine NVDL, whichever way we go, will have some interesting moves and volatility and volume, etc. in after hours. So for anyone who wants to be playing that, you might be looking at an NVDL.
Dude, is anyone else's heart beating?
Oh, I'm ready.
Minutes,
but can I tell you what's
our entire economy relies on this company.
So NVIDIA is a top 5 holding for me. I am very much positioned for this to go up. But there is
Evan, when did you I didn't know that. When did you start buying NVIDIA?
$1,000 NVIDIA.
No, my the first time
951.
my first buy of NVIDIA was August 16th, 2019, at $160.
Was it what, $1 a fractional share?
No, it was only 2 shares. And it was pre-split, so it was $160 pre. What split did they do? 4-to-1 split. So I am trying to flex on you right here.
Dude, a win is a win, bro. Something like if you have 5 shares but you're up 10x, I don't care. It looks nice to see up 1,000%, even if it's $100. Like
$40 cost basis on those first ones, but my whole position, I got cost basis is 75.64.
Wait,
So.
Evan, is Snow a top 5 for you as well?
No, Snow is probably like top 15, but it's getting up there. It was 0. It was not even in the portfolio before. Nope, Snowflake might be top 10 now.
Do we want to talk about that real quick? Snowflake? Yeah. What are they going to do? Because the CEO left when the stock was $237. He sold a couple million shares, a few months before. Stock falls to $145. Now it's at $163. The new guy was the former VP of ads at Google, and he made that $100 billion business. By the way, if Sundar wasn't picked, the guy who's the Snowflake CEO was going to be the CEO of Google. And I think they're sandbagging the crap out of their guidance. There's no way they grow 44%. Shay, I know you got a big one in this one. What do you think they're going to do?
Yeah, I mean, it's famously sandbagged for sure. There's just been some polarizing notes the past couple weeks of some really interesting data points on the bear side and some really interesting data points on the bullish side. I think Snow's always been a consistent performer until our last earnings report, and now with new leadership and just like a bunch of they've made a ton of acquisitions to get some AI go-to-market products out, and this Reka noise, like rumored acquisition a week ago, and now it fell through yesterday. There's just so much noise around this name that anecdotally, I know they're doing well on the business side, but there's just so much moving parts that I just want a clean report. Just have a clean one of a top and bottom beats, And it doesn't have to be an aggressive guide up. I want to guide up for sure because I'm underwriting at 26% growth in Snowflake in 2024. And right now, analysts are saying
Sorry,
22%.
chat. They might have gotten a little quiet there.
So I definitely need an upbeat report.
Paul,
They're
take a guess on watch
projected to
hours.
have a 27% revenue growth this earnings. I think it's going to be closer to 30%, especially after seeing the reacceleration from the infrastructure major players like the AWS's, Azure's, Google Cloud. Like, they should be growing at a similar pace as AWS for sure. It's always a perfect read through for Snowflake, 1-to-1. And you saw the massive reacceleration in AWS. So this bad boy should at least be at 30%. They destroyed their EPS last cycle as well. But again, this is their first print for the new CEO. Usually they are more on the cautious than aggressive side. All I want is this clear report, and also for them to talk about a clean report.
15 minutes to the close. Here we go.
In a month, like with NVIDIA and like the Snowflake event, like they're gonna have a ton of AI product launches in a month from now. So
Look
I
at him,
just
he
want
likes this
this
again.
to clear the noise and anticipation for next month. And once that happens, I do think this clears 200. But if they have a follow through of last earnings cycle of like, oh, their retention went below 130%, still best in breed, but it's suffering, and then they meet and barely guide up. Like, I think a lot of people, Palo Alto, assumed they would guide up because they thought they stand back as well. You didn't get that. So if Snowflake does a similar action, like they barely guide up,
Snowflake!
this will get hit hard. Like, I think the implied move is 10 to 12%. So this probably will retest 150, which has been a massive support in Snowflake. That is the price, I think, that Warren Buffett bought it at, and he doesn't really invest in tech stocks. So I think 150 will be a good entry if there is a gap down, but it's going to be a freaking wild day for me for sure with NVIDIA and Snowflake. I fucking hate these kind of days. Like, why not Snowflake report yesterday? I really wish Snowflake report yesterday.
Good point from Zero Hedge today. AI is very power inefficient. Energy stocks are an AI play. Yeah, Jeffrey, that's not a bad play.
I'm going to be down 15K or if I'm going to be up 15K.
Guys, if it's 425 and you see Snowflake and NVIDIA down 10%, just keep shying your thoughts. Send some nice words. No hateful DMs. We're a good environment here.
No, guys, please, God.
Yeah, I was gonna, should I start a GoFundMe page?
Just in case.
Just in case.
No, but my favorite thing about Yushai and a lot of these other people are picking it, it's a hard game, but just when people come in here with the knowledge and generally know what they're doing, and it's not just like one thought, like you can have a full conversation about the entire company and everything playing with it. I'm a fan of that. And generally, when you're individual stock picking and you're shooting for 10Xs, which I know that's kind of your strategy there, you're 100% not going to hit all of them. And if you do, then start a fund because I'd invest. But if you can hit 20, 30% on 10Xs and have some loss mitigation strategy on your losers, that's a very profitable strategy. That's kind of the underlyings of what Cathie Wood's portfolio should be if she wasn't trading. But
I 100%, I appreciate that. I mean, I 100% agree. Like, for every CrowdStrike, there is a unity type of situation. So it's just all about not busting out her portfolio and living to trade another day. And eventually, if you pick the right stocks and the high secular growth thematics, you'll win out. Or you might just do the Cathie Woods and still be down 70% from all-time highs, and while the market's at all-time highs. So
you know what's the cool thing about math is that you can make more than 100%. You can't lose more than 100%. And it's a strategy that can end up working for you.
I think the problem with Cathie Wood's strategy is that she continues to double down on companies with like very bad fundamentals. I think that would have kept her afloat from having like these huge bombs in the portfolio.
Snow is all
having
red.
some sort of like revenue
Interesting.
growth, some decent margin.
I don't have a
profile,
great
even
insider
if it's,
trading.
like,
What's your thoughts on
adjusted
cutting
numbers.
rates in the U.S.
I don't
this
know.
year? I think we get one or two. I see we got a couple people joining us up here. I'd love to go over to Kevin first. Very smart guy. Might have some different thoughts. And then Omar, very big in the AI space as well. We got about 30 minutes until NVIDIA earnings, about 15 until those Snowflake numbers. Mr. Kevin Green, appreciate you on the spaces as always. How are you doing today? What are you watching? You excited?
I'm doing good, Evan. And Shai, I got you in my thoughts and prayers, man. I hope the stocks initially go down like 5% just to kind of keep you on your toes. I hope they rip up 15. Look, we saw a little bit of a pullback today because of the 5 minutes. I appreciate
you, Callie.
The Fed minutes, in my opinion, they're like kind of already stale, and we've had a lot of market commentary or Fed commentary that's come out. But obviously, you know,
Getting excited.
it has
Mr. Bradley Reed.
a higher for longer type
Good
of
day,
scenario.
sir. Well, hello there.
You know, I don't think the Fed should be raising rates at all this year, but you know, there's going to be an
Brad, it's a big day.
opportunity in
NVIDIA
September
earnings.
for them to do so because of some base effects when it comes to CPI.
10 likes,
So
double digits.
right now, we're just seeing a little bit of volatility in the market, and we're going to try to maintain this.
Waiting for the numbers. Let me
want to kind of hold that 5,300 level. We're below it right now, but you know. We had this conversation yesterday, I believe, right? Like the VIX was
Rajendra, 4:20 p.m. Eastern.
At least yearly lows.
4:20 p.m. Eastern.
Even lower than that. So, you know, it's a perfect time to be able to hedge a position. And even though we are seeing a sell-off today, and it's not even a big sell-off, I mean, 0.5% is not that huge in my opinion. VIX spiked up
Can't wait.
a little bit. I mean, it's still relatively cheap. So, NVIDIA, obviously, all eyes are going to be on that. I don't think there's any doubt out there. It probably will be now, but I don't think there's any doubt out there that they're going to beat expectations. What I'm looking forward is the guidance moving forward. I think Monative is in the space, or maybe he was below. This is going to be the quarter for comps, right? So this is kind of the first quarter that kicked off this rally for NVIDIA last year. And I'm curious to see if
I think I'm going to use this one for the earnings.
These beats and raises and guidance, and the guidance raise being ahead of the street's expectations.
Let's try a little different strategy
and,
here.
If we're going to continue to see that type of growth rate, or if we're going to see maybe a stalling out or potentially a small deceleration there. And then the other area of their business, because everybody's going to be talking about data centers, and yeah, that's going to be the focus. But I'm looking at the gaming segment as well. They had some green shoots in the last report. We haven't seen it across the board when it comes to the gaming industry, or those that actually do provide chips for the gaming industry. But we've heard some good commentary coming out of companies that have had some issues over this cycle, let's say last year and a half, where we have seen PC sales and gaming console sales actually sliding. So it's a very small portion of their business. It's not the sexiest portion of their business, but I think that's going to be a good read into the future when it comes to maybe some of these other companies that have some form of gaming type of exposure. So that's what I'm kind of looking for here. And look, there's a lot of options activity that's taking place as well. So if we get a beat and raise and it's better than what the street expects, and if we crack above 1,000, we could have a gamma squeeze situation that happens. Like that could be the case.
28 minutes.
Or we can have a situation.
Yeah, 4:20. Good time.
Is perfectly priced
good
out
times.
the expected move, and we have more of a muted reaction. That could be the case too. So I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully we're going to be able to. Hopefully we see a beat and raise, and the market kind of reverses and tries to make new highs. And if that's going to be the case, then I think you're going to start seeing volume picking up back in the markets where it's been anemic over the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, the volume has definitely been very low. You think these NVIDIA earnings are these NVIDIA earnings could be what they've been waiting for. I wonder if it's the change from T+2 to T+1 next Tuesday. But I know Shai's been talking about it a little bit. If we don't get some volume coming in here over the next little bit, like I don't know what's going to bring them back in the summer.
Evan, sell it, man, go away. You know.
Sell it, man, go away. Someone has said that before, right?
If I remember correctly, yesterday was the lowest volume in SPY since 2017.
Since 2017, really?
Yeah, that's what I remember seeing on the banknote.
And you know what's funny? There's half days included in there. There's a Black Friday half day in there, and we're getting lower than that. That's it. That is impressive. That is impressive. Mr. Omar's blog. Omar, welcome. I know you are an NVIDIA fan, definitely a stock that you watch. You have any thoughts for this? And have we ever talked about Snowflake before? I don't know if that's a name that's on your radar, but how are you doing today? I'm excited for these earnings. I know you are. What are you watching?
Okay, Evan, let's be clear. Lowest non-holiday trading volume.
Gotcha.
2017, October 17th. Omar.
Hey, yeah, happy NVIDIA earnings day. This is like the Super Bowl for tech stocks. Obviously, I think NVIDIA is a huge bellwether of what's going on with these other companies. I think that it's obviously been an outsized portion of return investors have received
5 minutes
lately.
to the close. All right, now
It's
I'm
very
nervous.
closely watched, and it's really interesting to see what's happening, particularly in the data center segment. The amount of capital that has poured into AI training and inference chips with the rise of NVIDIA has been just astounding. Everybody and their mom is making AI training chips and AI inference chips. But Microsoft, Amazon, Google,
You have, companies like Grok that reportedly today they're seeking to raise $300 million. You've got Apple taking their Apple Silicon chips, which have AI inference for their phones, and looking to build chips for the data center, reportedly. So there's a ton of investment going in. Intel has their Gaudi, AMD has their own graphics cards as well. And developers are really doing everything to utilize these AMD graphics cards and try and, get the most utility out of them. George Hotz has started TinyBox. So there's just a ton of investment and research. I mean, NVIDIA has a grip on the market, but their customers desperately don't want to be so dependent on them. They have, a 76% gross margin. So it's a really interesting time. There's
Let's go NVIDIA!
Definitely a lot of alternatives
NVIDIA!
emerging. But at the same time, I don't see NVIDIA's grip on the market loosening much this quarter
NVIDIA.
or the next quarter, just
I'm sorry,
due to
I
the
can't
nature of the technology and the factors that lock people into continuing to buy more NVIDIA. So it'll be really interesting to see what the staff has to say, interesting to see the numbers. Expectations are high, but honestly, I could see the company still beating them. What I'm hearing just anecdotally from people I talk at big tech companies is that they're
try posting the link.
In very large orders for these.
I actually don't know if
GPUs,
you can or can't. Try it.
And they're just increasing the number of orders. If you look at the latest models from companies like Gemini, Google has now put AI answers into their search engine. So every time you search, you potentially need a little bit of AI inference to answer your question. They're building it into their products. OpenAI has this new GPT-4o Omni model that doesn't just operate on text. It can take in audio and images as well. And that obviously uses a lot more processing power. So the industry is really seeing that.
How many NVIDIA you guys holding? I got a good little bit of NVIDIA. Third largest holding my portfolio. Apple's 1, Q's are 2, and then NVIDIA 3.
And that's sort of powered their growth.
I own a lot of NVIDIA.
With expectations
relative to my
high,
portfolio
I think
size.
It could be easy to disappoint, but like I said, just some of what I'm hearing.
I don't even see the link. It didn't show me the link.
Of these companies is that they're just ordering staggering amounts of these chips.
Omar, it's going to be an interesting one. I'm excited. Actually, I got this question in chat. Anyone in here a little bearish on NVIDIA? Willing to say anything before?
I'll give so much respect for anyone who's publicly bearish about NVIDIA ahead of their print. I'll give you just so much respect, street cred.
Your DMs would be funny if they come in a beat. It would be a good time. All right, markets closed in 1 minute here. We should be getting these Snowflake earnings out at 4:05 p.m. Eastern. We'll spend a minute or two there, and then we'll refocus in on NVIDIA, which comes out at 4:20 p.m. Eastern. The NVIDIA earnings call, by the way, which I'm sure we're going to be listening to on here as well, is at 5 p.m. Eastern. And earnings calls are very important to listen to. So just when we get the numbers out, make sure you stick with us until we get that earnings call, which we'll listen to here with crystal clear quality, because we got someone who knows how to work with computers and can make it that way. Shout out, Omar. I certainly, if it was me, it would just be sounding terrible and you'd hear me typing the entire time, as we have done before. All right, here we go. Come on. If anyone has a ringing bell in the background, you should unmute. Ollie, you haven't seen me with NVIDIA earnings before. Apple? No, I might have been excited. All right, market closed. Oof.
I'm just logging in all my stuff right now. I was away, so
it's okay.
I can log in quick enough.
Kevin, I made you log in for nothing now.
I want to see these moves. I would say the only thing that would probably concern the street is I want to hear about their refresh cycle, right?
Here we freaking go.
Cycle and what they're going to do with the H100s. Just based on that Amazon news yesterday. I think that's the only thing that may throw a curveball. If they make any type of mention that maybe some other major companies are doing that as well. And it's not a negative thing, right? Waiting for Blackwell. But I'm just curious if they're going to mention that on the card.
You weren't here, Kevin, but Amazon denied that story yesterday afternoon.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I was literally gone all day, so that's good to hear.
NVIDIA. Snowflake out in
Their
5
order
minutes.
book is so deep too that it wouldn't even matter.
I mean, it's been triple stuffed.
It will be interesting to see what happens when we get past the H100 cycle. What happens with is NVIDIA still selling them? Are all these companies those hyperscalers who are getting them so aggressively looking to dump them off? If it gets so cheap, the Spaces crew is buying an NVIDIA H100. On Gerg. Thanks, Gerg.
You know what? Why not? One for every single person there.
That's a lot of compute. You can do some powerful things there. All right, Snowflake number should be out in 4 minutes. Gerg, why don't you pull up the estimates? I have EPS expectations of tactical.
Let me look at the final numbers from Bloomberg. It's even higher than what I tweeted.
I see 17 cents for Snowflake on EPS and then revenue of 785.9 million. Yeah, Snowflake's out at 405, NVIDIA's out at 420. So we have a couple minutes.
Who cares about Snowflakes when we have freaking NVIDIA reporting earnings?
I care about Snowflake. I'm more worried about Snowflake than NVIDIA, honestly.
That's a cap. That's a lie.
Maybe it is. Maybe I'm just saying it, but I think so.
Snowflake is more worried about NVIDIA's earnings than their own earnings.
True.
You know, it's always funny when Stock Talk laughs like 3 times, like at his own joke, and like only 1 or 2 other people do. But you got some reinforcement there. Wasn't a terrible joke.
I only laughed, for him to not feel bad on the joke.
That's the joke of a good host.
Thanks for laughing with me.
Sion Ken just said in my chat, you said NVIDIA, Gerg. And he followed up with love the way Gerg says NVIDIA, so. NVIDIA.
To be honest, when I talk to people, I just say NVIDIA. People know what I'm talking about usually.
I just tell them the best company in the world. And then they first asked, you mean Apple? And I said, no, I'm talking about NVIDIA now.
I'm still surprised why people consider Apple to be the best company.
Kevin, we'll see. Nothing yet.
I know it's the most valuable company. They do spit out $100 billion in annual free cash flow.
How many companies do you know spitting out $100 billion of free cash flow, sir?
Only 2 usually,
2? I don't even think there's another one at this point.
Aramco.
Okay. That's a fair point. I would have not looked at them. Weren't they trying to sell more shares or something?
What?
Saudi Aramco? I don't know. I could be speaking out of my ass there.
Oh my god, my fiance keeps calling me to fuck.
Snowflake is 4:05 p.m. Eastern. NVIDIA is 4:20 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, she's gonna get one for sure later.
So 2 minutes Snowflake, 15 minutes NVIDIA.
Got a nice candle.
No, there's probably no volume here. I haven't seen anything yet. Gerg, get that in front of you though, because Snowflake is one I care about. Snowflake again. I'm seeing EPS of 17 cents, revenue of 786 million as the bars we're trying to beat.
GFS, follow the stock shelf. No one cares about that.
Global Foundries, interesting.
We had some news about mRNA rallying with the BuzzFeed news.
Moderna's been killed. Had a great day. A lot of the biotech names were strong today. The solar names were strong today. A lot of strength, but
you didn't hear Moderna's a new AI play. That's the reason. It's well deserved for an uptick.
Guys, Snowflake, good vibes only. Make my stock go up.
The interest seems to be down. We only have 5,000 people alive for NVIDIA.
Still 20 minutes. 15 minutes until the numbers come out. You get a very big pickup. Come on. Snowflake. 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 I'm picturing this Gerg's going to laugh at me if it moves down. But Shai, don't worry. He'll be laughing at me, not you.
I'm going to be laughing at you regardless of...
My chat's saying I'm more excited than...
It's popping.
It's popping?
I think the numbers are... Yeah, it's popping up right now.
Let's go! 9%! Woo!
All right, I get the numbers in front of me. 789.6 million, beating expectations of 785. Need to find EPS somewhere in here now.
EPS 14 cents.
Oh,
missing estimates of 19 cents.
Oh, damn.
Gross margin in line. LVP also came out. Revenue, okay, that's a big beat. No, a revenue of $828 million. Market wanted 786. It's up 33% year over year.
Snowflake! Sorry.
Yeah. Who was that? Was you?
Yeah.
Hey, Shy, what were you looking for retention rate? It looks like that's sitting at 128%.
I need to hold 130. That's not good, but I think that up 33% guidance is huge.
RP, I mean, their performance obligations look decent, though, man. That came in at $5 billion. Is that 46% year over year?
LFUT down 10% after hours, if anyone cares about ELF.
Next quarter, they said they expect product revenue for Snowflake 805 to 810 million. Seems like some strong numbers there, a little growth.
VFC is out. No one cares about VFC.
And now, all right, I may need one more Snowflake scream, and then I'm ready for NVIDIA. Snowflake! Let's go. All right, NVIDIA earnings.
Bro, you sound like 5 years old. I mean, you know.
Oh, hey, I have not been blessed with a radio voice, but it is what it is. I don't have to deal with it. You all do.
You do have a radio face, though, so you know.
That was funny. It happens. Laughing at your own jokes, pulling a stock talk. That's not cool.
Snow down 12. Elf down 10.
Did
Snow
you hear
up
about
12.
So Snowflake Shy, so they had the announcement that they're acquiring True Era. Did you already talk about that?
Oh, really? Just now? Or is this in the past?
Just now?
It said that Snowflake today also announced its intent to acquire certain technology assets and hire key employees from True Era, an AI observability platform.
Oh,
They
shit.
had that in there.
What's Datadog doing? That's not going to be good for Datadog.
Guys, 5
Datadog's popping.
minutes to go.
No, what are you talking about? It's 13 minutes.
5 minutes.
No, 420. It's 407.
Also 459. Before that was 420.
No, it's 420 every time. This guy... is this guy even a news account?
Time by the minute.
We're at the second right now. I'm initiate 1 second candles. Oh, Snowflake's pulling back. I screamed one too many times. Balls.
That's what you get, Devin.
Oh, we're coming back up. Come on. We're just gonna end the day flat tomorrow. This is a nice little 5-minute candle. I'll take this.
Evan, since when are you a Snowflake shareholder? Did Shy convince you or what?
It's honestly has not been that long. Let's see when I bought the first share. Everyone loves Snowflake though. Paper Gains also one talking about it a lot. I bought my first Snowflake share on February 28th.
I have my printer ready for it.
There you go.
What happened to the minutes today, huh? What was up with that?
The first
Guys, a few minutes to go.
system.
Give me a second, chat. I'm sorry.
I have the final estimate with you. Evan, what do you have so I can compare them to you?
Well, mine are better, obviously. So let me get that in front of me. I see. My EPS expectation is running away from me. 558.
I'm at 565 on Bloomberg.
Okay. Revenue 24.59 billion.
24.7. 24.69, but I will go with 24.7.
No, get yourself an extra little thing there. Do 24.69. Why not? You know.
Since
Chat. Sorry, trying to do some things. How we feeling though? I haven't looked at the chat in a minute. I've been doing just craziness. Oh, you guys are going. Let's go. Let me get this out first. Ah, fuck, I already did it. All right. NVIDIA in 17 minutes. Oh, get the stream 20 likes. What's the program you're using, host?
Interesting things from Global Foundries. 950 million secondary offering of shares. And $200 million buyback.
Oh, fuck. I was unmuted for that entire time. I apologize. Sorry.
yeah, we heard your social.
I actually do have it memorized if you guys want it.
Sure.
All right.
Did you say $500 million offering and $200 million buyback?
No, $950 million secondary offering of shares from Global Foundries, but announcing a $200 million share repurchase.
That seems just counterintuitive.
It is.
Why not just raise $700 million and don't do the $200 million buyback? Idiots.
I don't know, Evan.
They're trying to sell low, buy high.
Why would you do that? No, actually, it's Stock Talk. What's the thinking behind this? Or like Kevin or...
I don't know. It's just silly, but I was just joking.
No, I know you were joking on that one, but like, why would you do a share buyback on the same thing where you are issuing shares?
I don't know. You know who would be a great person to answer that question? Kevin.
Yeah, he'll be back in a minute, I'm sure.
I'm here.
Oh,
No,
Kevin,
I'm here.
what's up? What's your thoughts on that? Global Foundries doing a $950 share, $950 million share offering, but also doing a share buyback same time.
It's concurrent, yeah.
I'm not. Are they? Is it a shelf offering though for the?
Just a
for the offer?
Just a secondary share offering.
Yeah, but is it shelf? Are they doing it? Do they have a designated time, or is this just something that's been approved? You know what I'm saying?
I'll get it in front of
Can they
me.
initiate it whenever?
Let me
Is
do
it?
that for you.
Yeah, that'll be the biggest difference, right? Like if they get a shelf offering approval to issue new shares, but like that doesn't mean that they have to have a designated date in order for them to do it. Like GameStop or AMC just did that, right? They had something that was approved and they were just kind of waiting, and then they just issued it.
It's just
So
weird.
I would be. It sounds like for me that they probably just had something that was actually approved that they can initiate a secondary that they're choosing. If not, then yeah, I don't know why you would buy back and reissue. It seems a little crazy. I think they just probably have the approval to do it at some point in time in the future.
Oh, okay, wait.
Prudent.
It looks like it's coming from a selling shareholder, actually. So the company might not be getting the stake. So this actually, generally, I don't really look at these. Global Foundries is not selling any ordinary shares in the offering and will not receive any pro. Okay, this is a nothing burger. That's just an insider who wants to sell out. Disregard. That is what's happening there, Gerg.
No, that makes sense. And I refuse to, I'm looking at NVIDIA and I refuse to dig into something else before NVIDIA comes out.
All right, what's the snowflakes candles? I know we pulled back a little bit. Okay, we're holding strong at this 176 level. I could take it.
I added 10% to my position. This with that guide, this is going to go to $200, in my opinion.
Oh.
So
What was the guide?
They guided where's my
805 to 810.
34% growth, and they beat. It was estimates for 786. They came in at 828, and they're claiming that their new AI products, Arctic specifically, is generating a lot of demand. So, if you read through the numbers, I do think they're anticipating that specific product will continue for them the rest of the year on that guide up. So, no more hate. There's zero chance that this company will grow less than 25% with that Q2 guide up and the commentary about their Arctic product. Like, I do think we're going to get a lot of upward revisions from the analysts in the coming weeks. And usually when that happens, that's when the price follows it, et cetera, et cetera. So I want to add in the 170s because I do think this has an easy 15% up move in the next month or two.
So, by the way, 805 to 810 million next quarter on product revenue. Wall Street wanted 787.5 million. And then for the full year, they raised it to 3.3 billion, up from 3.25 billion. So, decent numbers there.
They're still sandbagging full year, but that Q2 is a huge uptick.
For Q2, Bloomberg is at, let me pull it out. Do you have the estimate, 7?
For what?
For NVIDIA Q2 expectations?
No, that's next. No, I don't.
You don't? Okay.
You just said that like, you fucking peasant. You don't pay $40K a year for Bloomberg Terminal? Loser.
So I have 26.66 billion. That's the average estimate.
Oh,
Highest is 29.52 billion. Lowest is 25 billion.
Short-term cash in it? Yeah, so Scion, that turned out to be nothing. Yeah,
but
nothing burger.
Year, market expect
100 people live. Let's go.
And 2020.
Use that terminal. It's awesome, man. I regret not using mine at my university.
And $200 billion, man.
Who nay?
So to follow up, I forgot NVIDIA's reporting earnings.
Good luck, Paul.
Just Snowflake, so shouldn't have added. But I forgot one other metric that I'm absolutely bullish on is the RPO. Kevin mentioned that, but it's up close to 46%, showing reacceleration. So that's why I'm saying like these Arctic product is showing like it's going to gain a lot of momentum in the coming months. Should have added that color, but that RPO is a big metric for Snowflake, and it's showing reacceleration and being up 46%.
5 minutes till NVIDIA. 5 minutes. All right, 5 minutes till NVIDIA now. Whew. I'm ready.
The Fed should be more worried about NVIDIA earnings than inflation.
What's
So
your
this is a big, yeah. My printer is ready. I mean, I have the big printer here, so I don't know how the market's gonna react. But if they do like Facebook did and put a dividend or like increase their dividend, maybe it will fly.
I mean, NVIDIA does have a dividend, but that's, you know...
It's-
Yeah, it's 0.0.
Yeah.
It's 0.0.
For-
They might
yeah.
increase it or something.
Give me
it's
5
4
cents.
cents.
I want 5 cents on the dividend. Come on.
Any guesses as to if they're gonna beat enough to skyrocket after or
I
miss?
mean, right now, market for guidance, let's see though. I mean, to be honest, the Q1 numbers are they don't matter. The guidance is what's important.
Golly,
and
I'm excited.
I think everyone
Ollie, you know what
here
else it is?
knows
No one's home right now, so I feel like I could scream a little bit more
how
than
big
normal.
it's gonna be. Right now, market
Matthew,
expects
I see your comment up there.
26.6
No.
billion. I think anything
Which
below
terminal are you using?
28
This has
billion
just been
is
Zynga
for the
Pro.
stock for Q2
It does the job.
numbers.
It's solid. It's not a Bloomberg terminal.
Does anyone know how is Kramer positioned?
He is very bullish on NVIDIA. Been for a long time. His dog was named NVIDIA. But to be fair, he was bullish on this 2,000% ago. So
There is a trader though today that put on 4,983 contracts of the 790 puts for $1.18 outright. Curious to see if that person hits 790 puts.
Kramer is bullish. I might need a bigger printer.
I hope those 790 puts don't hit. That's outside the expected move too.
I don't have any NVIDIA either direction, obviously, but if I were to guess, I would guess that they're going to beat again, and it's significantly enough to where people are going to be like very bullish on the stock. That would be my guess, but obviously it could be way off because just merely beating, like Gavin was saying, is not going to be enough. They have to guide up as well.
Yeah, like I said before, the question is not whether NVIDIA will beat earnings. The question is how big the beat will be today.
Right.
It's not always size though. It's how you use it and what area it's in. I've been told.
That's funny.
I try. So sometimes jokes come out. They hit about 20% of the time. I'm glad that one did.
Laughing emojis for that one, Evan.
There we go. I didn't even have to laugh at my own joke there. Stock Talk, eh?
Guys,
Good.
2 minutes to go.
Stock Talk's been a little annoyed at me this week. Just underlyings. He's like fed up with my shit.
No, I'm not.
Just this week?
That's a fair point. I'm
Try 2 years.
freaking
2 years
ready.
from now. Guys, 24.7 billion is expected for revenue. 24.7 billion and EPS 565. I do think we could get around 615 for EPS. That's what I'm looking at.
Someone in my chat has AMD calls.
I'm looking at 26 billion.
AMD calls for
my,
next week.
numbers.
Well, you blew my estimate with 60 viewers. 106, killing it more than I thought. Steak or cardboard, baby. Let's go steak.
Much higher on the EPS expectation, but we'll see.
Here we go. Am I having steak for dinner tonight, or am I having some ramen noodles? I stole this joke for the record.
Everyone is having that $1 Times Square pizza slice for dinner.
All right. 1 minute charts initiated.
Guys, 45 seconds to go.
All right, Gerg. Just random prediction. Is NVIDIA going to open trading tomorrow higher or lower than current levels? I'm saying higher.
Let's go higher. I feel like consensus is higher. I would want to go with lower, even though I expect them to beat. But let's go with lower just for the fun of it.
Here we go. Someone, whenever you have them, read them out.
I will read them out. Should be out in 15 seconds. 10 seconds.
The Super Bowl for nerds has come.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's 420. NVIDIA numbers are...
Late.
Oh, big dump down there. Oh, we're moving lower. NVIDIA earnings are out. Revenue of 26 billion, beating expectations of 24.5 billion. They raised the quarterly dividend. Oh, stock split. 10 for 1 stock split. NVIDIA just announced a 10 for 1 stock split. There you go. 1 cent dividend. So they're going from a I'm seeing EPS of $6.12, beating expectations of $5.59 too.
New NVIDIA all-time highs right here.
Oh.
Moving higher now. Moving higher. Yeah. All-time highs. We're going to go through 1,000. Let's do it.
The new dividend is 10 cents per share.
Yeah.
NVIDIA up 3.93% in after hours.
All right, guys. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for anyone with headphones on. Be warned right now. NVIDIA! Let's go.
Come on. $5 more to 1,000. Come on. 997.
1,000. Oh, we're pulling back now.
So funny.
Okay, guys. Guidance of $28 billion.
Woohoo!
Market expected 26.6 billion. They increased cash dividend 150%. Data center revenue of 22.6 billion. Market wanted 21.1. Okay. Last year revenue was 7.2 billion. This year was $26 billion.
All right, chat. I'll keep this here, and then I'll do some of the stuff I have to do on another page.
4.3 billion. Market wanted 22.6. Like free cash flow of $15 billion. Market expected 12. Shit. And last year they had 2.6 billion in free cash flow. You know,
Gerg, I'm a little confused. Are these numbers good?
They're not good. They're great.
There you go.
For the margins, they're saying mid-range 70%. Is that what was Bloomberg having on that?
In line.
Okay.
Plus or minus. There we go. Come on, you want 1,000, right? Like,
market makers know.
That's a fair point, Kevin.
That got lower after earnings. Who got it?
Actually, yeah, that initial move lower was interesting. But Kevin, we were talking about the implied move before. I think it got on the upside. It got you up to like 1035 is the level. So if you had calls on these NVIDIA earnings, you are losing money right now. Just saying. Don't bet on earnings. In my opinion.
Maybe. I mean, we still have a conference call. And what we have seen a little bit different. Now, maybe market makers are a little bit smarter, but in the past, like not the last earnings announcement, but the two before that, we have seen an IV actually spike post earnings because it's so much enthusiasm. So I wouldn't call them losers yet. We still have 2 trading days left to go. So we might, if there's a lot of enthusiasm, even if they're out of the money, they still might have an IV spike to be able to give them a little bit of room. Maybe.
So 10 for 1, that puts us at like $100 stock now.
Assuming it doesn't go higher.
I'm just watching now. Snowflake didn't really move off of that as well.
Blackwell platform is in full production. That's good to hear.
Ooh. I kind of figured that would happen.
An amazing summer. I don't think there's anything going to ruin the summer in the market. This is going to be an easy grind up.
By the way, stick with us. Kevin mentioned the earnings call there. It's going to be at 5 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be listening to it in this Spaces. Earnings calls are really important to listen to. There might be some language that's said there that's a little different, but yeah. Should I read some of the quotes from the release? Fuck it, I'll do it anyway. This is a quote from Jensen Huang.
No.
The next industrial revolution has begun. Companies and countries are partnering with NVIDIA to shift the trillion-dollar traditional data centers to accelerated computing and build a new type of data center, AI factories. This AI factories language is something that I haven't really heard before that event they did with Dell. AI factories to produce a new commodity, artificial intelligence. I was going strong there and we tailed off towards the end on my reading skills. Continuing to quote, AI will bring significant productivity gains to nearly every industry and help companies be more cost and energy efficient while expanding revenue opportunities. Fuck it, we'll keep going. Our data center growth was fueled by strong and accelerating demand for generative AI training and inference on the Hopper platform. Beyond cloud services, generative AI has expanded to consumer internet companies, and enterprise, sovereign AI, automobile, and healthcare customers, creating multiple multi-billion-dollar vertical markets. All right, here we go again. We are poised for our next wave of growth. The Blackwell platform is in full production, as Kevin was saying, and forms the foundation for trillion parameter scale generative AI. Spectrum X opens brand new market for us to bring large-scale AI to Ethernet-only data centers. And NVIDIA NIM is our new software offering that delivers enterprise-grade, optimized generative AI to run on CUDA everywhere.
Hey, real quick, can you guys talk about the segments, what they reported, and then the estimates for them? Because it looks like gaming quarter-over-quarter was down 8%.
Who cares about gaming, to be honest?
Well, I think it's still very interesting.
Some 5% of the revenue.
Now it is, but I think it's a good indicator.
Okay,
I just want to know what the what's the
Gerg, he just wants an answer. Stop. No, I'm kidding. I love you.
Got that Bloomberg, break that bad boy out.
So if you want the revenue breakdown, here you go. Data center of 22.6 billion, market wanted 21. Professional of 430 million, market wanted 480. That's small mess. Automotive of 330 million, market wanted 290. That's a small beat.
All right, let's look. And this is before the new 50s release. I'll consider this. Shorts will die of the 100 hill. This earnings shot is fire. Yeah, P-Tang, this has been good. AMD, I got the dubs.
But,
Oh, Brad, that's you. Let's go, Cal. Easy as that. Let's hope we stick it. Stick up this high. Awesome. Come on, 1K. It's pulling back a little bit here. Now, it's weird because I have 1 minute candles here, and I never look at this, so I think it's just more than I'm used to. But, hey. Come on, break over 1,000. We're pulling back a little bit. Now around 980. What percentage move is this in after hours? 4?
NVIDIA is up 3.8%.
Okay. Oh, that was a good guess on 4. That was out of my ass, so I'm happy with that.
My printer just jammed, guys. Maybe it's pullbacks because of that. So I'm changing ink. 1 second.
So that forward guidance for NVIDIA, I know we talked about it a little bit. They expect revenue next quarter to be $28 billion, as Gerg was saying, plus or minus 2%. What's that plus or minus 2% come to? 28 times 1.02. 28.6. So like probably like 27.4 to like 28.6 is about their range they're saying. Wall Street wanted 26.8 billion. And then NVIDIA raised its dividend, as we're saying there, 150%. It's currently 4 cents per share. They also announced a 10-for-1 stock split. So after the stock split, it will be 1 cent per share. Let me get the quarterly revenue trends up as well for NVIDIA. NVIDIA Investor Relations.
I'm not gonna lie. It looks like this is gonna fade though. It's gonna fade this whole.
It's continuing. It's continuing lower here.
Yeah.
We still have the earnings call, so wait for that, guys. Don't lose all hope yet. Let me pull this over here. Gerg, how you feeling?
Good always.
I don't know. I've gotten some weird DMs of you saying you're in a shitty place. I don't know where I was going with that. I just kind of wanted to give a retort, but it didn't come out well. I'm just digging through it. I want to get through the like their slides that they like to put out. Are those here? Quarterly revenue trend. Yeah. Data center revenue last quarter, 18.4 billion. Data center revenue this quarter, 22.56 billion. What growth is that quarter over quarter? Now, there could be some cyclicality. I don't know if Q1 is just a cyclically higher part of the market for them, but... Oh, wait, shit, I made a mistake. 1 second. I have quarterly revenue growth in the data center division of 22.6%. Last quarter, let's see what it was. I see 26.8.
No, it's picking back up again. Jeez.
I'm looking at this 1 minute. I think this is actually a little delayed if I'm not wrong, but no, it's not. Up 1%, up 2%. We'll see. Still have that earnings call. I'm surprised we got the split. Wait, who was it? Amit, who was talking about the 10-for-1 split that he thought was coming, and I was like, yeah, no shot. Look at me. I'm an asshole.
It was Amit, too. I was like, no way that the kahunas to do 10-for-1, but I was wrong for sure, too.
Yeah, remember the point? I gave Gerg a shout-out for making a good point up there, but turns out it was stupid, too. Gerg, I take it back.
The good thing is it's my friend's idea.
Yeah. Classic.
I think the split also allows them, because of their stock price was too high, the split probably also allows them to be a part of the Dow Jones Industrial Average.
I don't think they get added to the Dow, man.
I'm just saying it allows them. It allows it to. I mean, who thought that Apple would be a part of it? You know?
Everybody.
No, but it's now is a different time than when it got added. When was Apple added to the Dow? When was Apple?
Oh, 5 years ago.
Actually 9 years ago. March 19th, 2025. Nope, 2015. That would be in the future if it's 2025. Monative, you joined us up here. I know you're very, very knowledgeable in this space. Do you have any thoughts you want to get out there?
Yeah, I'm looking through these numbers. I mean, look, H100 has been in the market for 6 quarters now. 78% overall margin still. And it's been increasing every quarter. So they are holding their line on operating expenses.
Sorry for how that looked, chat.
They are doing fabulously.
It's the only way I can get this here.
They have a new product cycle coming. They have a new, a whole new massive refresh coming at the end of the year. There's a lot going on. The more first of all, let's leave the price action out of this for a second. NVIDIA certainly, given the numbers for it to not affect the rest of the market, meaning, they've done enough that the market should not be, impacted negatively, based on, the AI boom fading or any of that, right? But few things to remember. This is only still a handful of hyperscalers that are driving this entire market for NVIDIA. We've not even seen the beginnings of the rest of, data center demand picking up, right? The captive data centers, outside of these big hyperscalers, nobody is still, spending big, and that is still a good sign. Obviously, they are far more cost sensitive. But for me, again, the revelation is they've clearly not lost a whit of market share to AMD, and they've certainly not had to discount to push volume so far. Don't know what happens from here, but so far, AMD has not done diddly squat in this market.
Oh yeah, how was AMD moving in after hours? I didn't even look.
It was up like 1%.
No.
Pretty much all the chip names were. Yep.
But is it kind of pulling back now as NVIDIA's pulling back here? Yeah, it is. Listen, this was a fantastic quarter from NVIDIA. They beat and raised. They come in above expectations. I don't really know more else of what they could have done,
Well, I mean, if they start talking more about the software side on this conference call, you're going to see this stock bid up. I think that's going to be the case, right? We know the hardware side is strong. But if they continue to talk about their software side and how they are,
I gotta post this up to the YouTubes.
I think that was actually like the biggest bright spot for them in their last earnings report, even though it was only like a 2-minute take on it, or maybe 5 minutes. But I think that's where that longer term growth is going to be for this company.
Let me get this over here.
As the hardware space eventually, I'm not saying tomorrow, but eventually will tighten up as far as competition.
Yeah, I mean, the call could definitely change the movement here and send the stock higher. But I mean, one simple thing we can all do is just look left. I mean, the stock's up, 35% since the prior quarter. I mean, so to a degree, a little bit of this is baked in. Now, I'm not saying, the stock can't trade higher, but, the 2.5-3% move to the upside, I mean, you take what you can get. The stock's up big since the previous quarter. So, I don't think it's too crazy to see a 2-3% move be what we get here.
Hey, Stock Talk, just to add to that, in a month it's up 20%. So even
there you go. I wrote in the chat what I use.
Exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. We don't look left often enough. I mean, even on Snowflake, you look left on that chart. It makes sense why you got a big reaction initially.
Give me a second, chat.
It was just a relatively, unremarkable quarter on the headlines. Still, the stock's down big since the previous quarter. So yeah, maybe you get a little bit of relief bounce on Snowflake in a higher magnitude than you do on NVIDIA. But I mean, look, this, as Gerg said earlier, this quarter is excellent across the board. We'll see what the commentary looks like on the call if that drives the stock higher. But the stock doesn't need to be up 15.
We have reinvented computing.
Chat, give me 1 minute. I need to get this posted to Instagram, honestly. For some fucking reason, only Reels work over there, so I need a second.
Yeah, the forward numbers are starting to look really, really good. I mean, they're going to make, if you just look forward, assuming, you know, the current quarter is a decent trend for that, somewhere in the $24 to $25, you know, for the year. That's, you know, less than 40 times forward. Right, that's I mean that's the cheapest it's been in a very, very, very long time, or maybe ever.
Chat.
Nothing stands out. That's negative. Like
It's trying to hold here.
Numbers.
Nothing except the small division.
Gert, did we get any pre-call commentary on the terminal about the Blackwell chip?
Let's see.
There was some language that it is in full production, as Kevin was reading out.
I'd like to know what full production means from a unit standpoint, but I guess maybe they won't tell us that.
I don't think they're going to tell you that. But the Blackwell platform is in full production and forms the foundation for blah, 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 blah.
There was a report out yesterday that said that they'll produce 420,000.
Invented.
Sorry, chat. All right, this Instagram post is now up.
Oh, if that's the case, that's big earnings power.
We're good.
Yeah, Omar, do you have your friend ready for the earnings call? I don't see him right now.
Yeah, I'll get him up. I was just reading the income statement. I mean, this is pretty insane. Revenue in the year-ago quarter, $7 billion. Revenue this quarter, $26 billion. Gross profit last year, $4.6 billion. This year, $20 billion. OPEX only increased from 2.5 to less than 3.5 billion. Net income from 2 billion to 15 billion in 1 year. Nuts.
That seems pretty average to me. Is that good though? I don't know.
Bro, the comments are I'm just dying laughing. Fake earnings, fake estimates. NVIDIA's a fraud, bro. These shots are so salty.
What's the guy who's saying we're fucked a lot? What's he saying?
There's so many of them.
Hey, eventually they'll be right.
Oh, the guy just went private, the main guy who says.
Ah, interesting. Fair enough. All right, we got about, 22 minutes until the earnings call? We are going to be listing that on here, so make sure you're sticking by us. Important information will be shared there. Shout out Omar's blog up here. You should be following him. He'll help us get that sound quality in ultra crisp, clear audio.
I love that Omar agrees that In-N-Out is overrated. He did tweet about
Really?
this yeah.
Didn't Elon comment on that too? Is that the one he commented on?
Did he?
I think so. Omar, you have any other thoughts on what we're seeing here? I know you're really focused in on that the AI component of it. There was some good language at the start of the kind of thing talking about where their AI is at. This whole AI factories. Whoa. What? Oh my God, Alexa's listening. Alexa off. All right, sorry. Yeah, Omar, I think you heard the question until Alexa like wasn't okay with NVIDIA getting all the the praise, so it needed to jump in. I get it. You know what? +1 for Bezos there. But yeah, you have any extra thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think
Chat, were you guys able to hear that?
Phases of what we're seeing with NVIDIA's data center business here. You heard comparisons to the .com bubble, for example, saying there's an AI bubble, but one thing you didn't see in the .com bubble is companies having positive earnings and growing 7 times larger in a year in terms of their earnings. So we're really just getting started here, I think. we are seeing sort of the first phase of growth in this hardware that's necessary to create the AI factories, as NVIDIA calls it. But I think we're also moving into a phase this year where you have the end products that use these systems actually starting to generate revenue too. And as that starts to happen, the AI boom that we're seeing is built on this idea that if you just scale up compute like crazy and train bigger models on more and more data, you can get better and better results. And there's an arms race going on here, so I don't see the situation changing in the next few quarters.
The rate of acceleration in data center compute revenue is ridiculous. It came in at $19.4 billion for the quarter, which is a 480% year-over-year jump and a 30% quarter-over-quarter jump. That is nuts.
So, Stock Talk, to your question about capacity, right? So,
Emperador.
I'm trying to read off here.
Welcome,
I
Emp.
cannot find anything on
Chat, I'll be back in half a second. It's NVIDIA earnings, so I'm not going far. Filling up the water.
Chip on wafer and substrate production at TSMC has been about 8,000 per month, and NVIDIA is using about 2/3 of it. It is expected to go to 20,000 a month by the end of the year, roughly 150 to 170,000 this year, and NVIDIA is still going to be using over 50% of it. So think about that. Their production is going to go up substantially. So some of it is going to come from Blackwell. I think it's mostly going to be, does it come in soon enough that the ramp gets really fast at the end by Q4? Or does it come late and have to ramp quickly that it's not going to matter to 2024 earnings? I think we're going to see some meaningful ramp in 24, given how much TSMC is dumping into CoWoS capacity.
Yeah, the CoWoS capacity, there was projections that came out based on those numbers yesterday. That was the numbers I was alluding to earlier, Monative, which are the 420K Blackwells in the second half of this year, then 1.5 to 2.5 million units expected.
What, 17 minutes till the earnings call, guys?
Based on the CoWoS numbers.
We're listening to it here.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. I mean, I've not had time to sit and compute that, but that sort of makes sense. So we are looking at a late Q3 trickle and a late Q4 big volume jump. So we could see significant Blackwell numbers in Q4, but I don't think it's going to be the whole Q4 though. That's just my guess at this time. I don't think they're also, look, last year they were taking only confirmed orders, and those orders were going well into Q2. So we still have a period of time that they have confirmed H100 orders. So they're not going to cannibalize all of that too quickly. So they're going to slide this in, give it first to customers that are willing to pay that huge premium. Clearly, right? They're not.
NVIDIA moving back up here.
To, doubt
and the IV crush is gonna be hilarious tomorrow.
So we'll see. I mean, I honestly.
I haven't checked how many subscribers I gained during the spaces, guys. I hope you came in here and subscribed. And up at like 11, guys. If you're in here, subscribe. All right, so we got about what?
All of this from a dozen customers. If you will,
like 4 people, like 5 customers.
OpenAI. Yeah. Does OpenAI Microsoft count as 1 or 2?
1. So I was listening to Jensen Horn talk in SF last month. Omar was there with me. He mentioned they get like 5 checks a year. No, per quarter or something.
Omar.
Yeah, that's actually true. They've got like literally 5 big customers that are probably buying most of their products.
So Omar, important question. What is Gergavin like in real life compared to online, in your opinion?
Well, I was surprised at how that he's like what are you, like 21 or something?
A bit older, but yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't look that young, but I was like, wait, really? You're like, more than 5 years younger than me. But, he took us to this bar after that was like Pretty in Pink or something. Everything was pink.
Yeah,
And,
Gerg.
Yeah, that was an interesting choice, but yeah, the drinks were good.
Just to be clear, my friend wanted to go there. That's why we went there.
Allegedly. We knew it was you, Gerg.
No judgments here.
No judgments. No judgments. It's California, too. I'm surprised Omar hasn't been there. That might have came out in the wrong way that I meant it, but here we are.
We did beat Omar and Mario Kart, though, badly at his house.
Hey, trade initiation. I appreciate you. Regular times I stream. I've been trying to do these like morning streams, help you get ready for the day, like 8:45 a.m. Eastern to like 9:30, and then I'm trying to do these power hours like 3 to 5. But we'll see. But I'm going live a good bit.
Oh, Mario Kart?
Yeah.
I think I won one of them, didn't I?
The first one I won, that's all I remember, to be honest.
You know what they say, just pick the time frame that fits your argument, so. Hey, if you win the first game, you only played one game then, even if there's others. That's the Gerg strategy in life. It's worked so far.
Yeah, me and Gergavin were riding around in the Cybertruck.
Oh, I saw it was cool. I'm surprised we didn't get an updated Gergavin price target here now that we saw some Cybertruck. You were happy with it. You thought it was cool.
Yeah, it was. It looks fake.
But it's real.
I don't know how you describe it, but, it just doesn't look real.
Maybe it's just one big prank. If there was a big Tesla prank going in on it, I could be convinced that Omar's on the inside of it. I'm just saying.
No, it's too late to be a prank.
All right, I'm looking at these prices, by the way. NVIDIA has moved back up a little bit. It was getting down to like 960, 955 level-ish, and now we're back up at 985, and then Snowflake 2 hanging in there at 172.
It's still at all-time high, just to be clear.
Yeah. Was this another all-time high closing price for NVIDIA today? I think so.
I'm not sure, but I could double-check.
Guys, I kind of am a part-time streamer. I won't
Let's see
lie.
what happens when the market opens tomorrow and after this call. Too early to draw any conclusions.
I mean, I'll do some early bullish conclusions. Why not? No, I'm kidding. You're right. Very much so right. We have to wait for tomorrow.
I mean, it looks like it's going up. It looks like the numbers are good.
So what type? That got me thinking. Like, what type of language are we going to be hearing on this? So this was not an all-time high closing price. Emperador is saying that yesterday was higher. What type of language do we think we're going to be hearing on this earnings call here?
Data centers everywhere are moving to accelerated computing at a rapid pace.
They're going to talk about the so for a while they were talking about companies and hyperscalers. Last quarter or 2 quarters ago, they started to shift more towards like, hey, we see sovereign countries as the next thing for it. I wonder if they double down on the sovereign countries thing or have a new kind of, hey,
AI
this.
factory.
What'd you say?
AI factories. They've been pushing that for a bit now.
I feel like that is language I haven't really heard too much before. The first time I heard the AI factories comment was around the Dell event and in that interview that they
they've been
did.
saying that for a while.
It's been said?
Even yesterday they mentioned countries as clients during the HP thing on Bloomberg, if you watched that. You guys watched that?
What, the interview with Ed Ludlow and the others?
Yeah. NVIDIA and the Sogosna CEO.
What he meant was U.S. allies as clients.
Fair.
I mean, China, if they could, but, the government is just trying to stop them.
There was a headline today that the Biden administration, or like the House passed on something to give the Biden administration more possible control over like that AI stuff or whatever.
Yes, they did. I mean, they basically already have unilateral control over anything they deem a national security threat on as far as import-export restrictions go. But they did pass legislation to give them more fine-tuned control over that process. And frankly speaking, I don't think that trend's going to change at all. I mean, everyone wants to be on the cutting edge, and we certainly don't want the enemies of the United States to be on the cutting edge. So this is going to be a U.S. allies thing only.
Bullish.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the export restrictions on some of these high-end GPUs like the H100s and B100s, and I think the message is kind of clear, which nations all over the world have kind of internalized, which is AI is national security. Not only is it obviously a huge economic factor in determining the competitiveness of a market, but from a national security perspective, AI is increasingly becoming crucial for being competitive in warfare. Like you've heard many people say that really the future of warfare is drone warfare. These sort of autonomous robots just sort of fighting each other. And the ability to have a cutting edge sort of AI pilot or, use AI in any other way is dependent on these GPUs.
Yeah, and I mean, one read-through I guess you could have from this, based on the fact that they're pulling forward Blackwell production pretty significantly. The report yesterday actually said they're using panel-level fan-out packaging for the GB200 systems in 2025. That was expected to not happen until 2026. So that shows that they are being pretty aggressive with these reiterations of the product cycles, and that I think is super bullish for TSM. If NVIDIA can hold this move and you see some reinvigoration in semiconductors in the coming weeks, I mean, TSM's going to go a lot higher.
Has TSM moved in after hours at all, or is it just kind of moving with semiconductors?
1.5%, which is a pretty big move for that stock.
To be fair, NVIDIA.
Good night, Kali. It's 11 p.m. late. I appreciate you being like the first person in here. Were you the first person?
If you look at
We got a lot of chats today. Nick was first. You were here at the start. I really appreciate you, and thank you for joining me.
They make like no money on these chips. Honestly, I think their margin, if I'm not mistaken, is only like what 9%, 10%.
Yeah, the vast majority of their growth is coming from this sector, though.
Oh, I just shared a screenshot I posted sometime last year because people were like, "Oh, look at TSM, sales are down," but NVIDIA sales are such a tiny and minute part of TSM's business. It's not really the best way to gauge NVIDIA and AI demand as a whole. As a sector, yes. But just NVIDIA is just, almost a rounding error in terms of TSM's revenue. Even bottom line.
I think based on the April report, investors are going to start tying them to the AI theme more aggressively as a source of growth. I mean, if you saw that April update for TSM that came out last week, is very bullish in my view. So we'll see. I think the stock trades higher off this.
Apple is 25% of TSM's revenue, just to be,
Yeah, I think the handset market was really kind of what drove that pop. But Monative, if he's still on here. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was going to ask Monative real quick. Does TSM, do you know, maybe you don't, but does TSM have any,
right at the start, I appreciate you, Callie.
Adjust those margins or adjust those prices for some of these big contracts, maybe not for NVIDIA, but maybe for like an AMD when they can ramp?
They do. Most of their contracts are volume driven, and they don't go really long term because they do quickly fill up capacity in the edge nodes, right? What is that now? 3 and 5, 3 and 2 nanometer are the edge nodes now. So they do adjust those prices on a very regular basis because they are capacity constrained, and those are the most expensive nodes. But bulk of the revenue does come from the older nodes, and those fade quickly. So it's a balancing act that they constantly have to do to keep their margin in that, low teens range overall. Because whatever they make up in smaller volumes in the edge nodes, they lose in larger volume in the older nodes, and that's why they're trying to quickly move people into the edge nodes.
No worries, Paul. If
somebody like an NVIDIA were to take up more capacity
84.3. It's been strong. We just weren't live for too long.
Bit of discount, but
information
the rest would pay up, right? Like an AMD would pay a lot more per unit than an NVIDIA would because of 10x, 50x, 100x, or whatever that volume is. But again, like somebody just pointed out, sheer volume comes from Apple. And that is on the edge node for most part, and that is a weak mobile market that's hurting them. So any of that recovering will help TSM a lot more than, say, even doubling of NVIDIA volumes.
Why is this taking...
Appreciate that.
85 now. All right, we got about 5 minutes till that earnings call starts, by the way. 5 minutes.
All right, let's test the call. All right, looks like we're all set.
That was funny. But yeah, to Monitor's point, I think the volume growth part of this phase has yet to rear its head. And I think that's where TSM really gets the tailwinds. And look, yeah, I mean, at this juncture, it's not a significant portion of their revenue. I mean, anyone could see that just by looking at the, the basic breakdown of revenue. But
that took a lot to get the wording out I wanted.
This theme, if you will, ends up being a big tailwind for TSM, especially as
Jesus, I have like 300 followers in a minute.
Become customers. So yeah, I'm bullish on TSM, but I hear you guys. I hear the concerns. I still think the stock trades a lot higher in the coming.
I don't think there's a concern. I think you're right about that. I don't think it's a concern. I think it's the ramp up of trying to get that equipment and that infrastructure in place by TSM in order to increase the capacity, and how long that can take. And I don't know how long that can take, right? I think that's kind of the biggest thing, because it doesn't seem and appear to me that they're making a massive shift when it comes to their production.
So 2 hours, 85 watch hours. That means an average of 42 viewers.
That's driven mainly because of I would say,
we had a spike at 120
compared to the demand that they probably see right now.
There.
And I think that repricing probably would encourage them or entice them a little bit more to probably try to.
If you guys are in here in the stream for the first time, make sure you're subscribed. I do live stream a bunch. Hit the bell button to get notified when I go live as well. Earnings call starting in 3 minutes. We're going to be listening to it here.
2, 3, and 5 nanometers. So it's not, I mean, don't look at that overall margin. That gets crushed when you go to the 7, 10 nanometer nodes, which they really don't want, to compete with Chinese fabs, because those are much more cost effective. So it's not that they don't make the margin. It's just that, volume ramps for somebody like NVIDIA are small, versus somebody like Apple having a huge hit with an iPhone that suddenly, leads to a massive inflection in mobile demand. But remember, every one of the other guys that are also lined up to make their own chips still go through NVIDIA, right? 5% from MediaTek.
Appreciate you, Trade Intuition.
From Broadcom.
Is X where you found me? Or Instagram?
5% of NVIDIA,
everyone in the chat, did you guys come from Instagram or X or Twitter?
Is the only thing that's happening
Instagram or Twitter? I'm curious.
They are getting allocation. They're getting these businesses from every one of these companies that are also in the AI race that are stepping up. Qualcomm also is one of their larger markets, so one larger customer. So I don't think the concern about
Good afternoon. My name is Rob, and I'll be your conference operator today. At this time, I would like to welcome everyone to the NVIDIA's fourth quarter earnings call.
That's the last one.
Insta, we really
X.
Completely, destroyed
Staking Julius.
phone market,
welcome.
market.
Appreciate you joining.
And TSM is still going to show
IG,
growth.
nice.
It's just that,
my goal was to get more people from Instagram, and I'm happy to see it's actually happening.
If we get a big hit from
you guys have never heard these
Apple
spaces before. I love these spaces. They're so good.
That'll inflect faster than a ramp in NVIDIA would, just because of the sheer size of Apple.
All right. By the way, this is earningshub.com. Big fan. All right, we got about 1 minute till that call starts. 1 minute.
Real quick, Evan, before the call starts, but we are hoping to have the NVIDIA call live on earningshub.com as well. If you go to earningshub.com and just click on NVIDIA, you can also have a live chat about the call right underneath it. Now, we might be a few seconds delayed. This is the first call we're live streaming, so give us a break if it's more than a few seconds delayed, but we're working on it so that
I'll get that done later.
From this point forward, we'll have all the calls live as they happen with live chat going on underneath it as well.
Does that work?
Good stuff, I mean.
No, it won't. Yeah, that is pretty cool. I'm excited for it.
Stay here on Stocks on Spaces, where we have crystal clear earnings calls with no issues, or your money back. Here we go.
Hamid, I'm waiting for the chat. I'm going to say some nice things to people. Gerg actually owes me $50. Speaking of that,
For what?
Good afternoon. My name is Regina, and I will be your conference operator today. At this time, I would like to welcome
we are now listening to the NVIDIA earnings call.
First quarter earnings call. All lines have been placed on mute to prevent any background noise. After the speaker's remarks, there will be a question and answer session. If you would like to ask a question during this time, simply press star followed by the number 1 on your telephone keypad. If you would like to withdraw your question, press star 1 again. Thank you. Simona Jankowski, you may begin your conference.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to NVIDIA's conference call for the first quarter of fiscal 2025. With me today from NVIDIA are Jensen Huang, President and Chief Executive Officer, and Colette Kress, Executive Vice President and Chief Financial Officer. I'd like to remind you that our call is being webcast live on NVIDIA's Investor Relations website. The webcast will be available for replay until the conference call to discuss our financial results for the second quarter of fiscal 2025. The content of today's call is NVIDIA's property. It can be reproduced or transcribed without our prior written consent. During this call, we may make forward-looking statements based on current expectations. These are subject to a number of significant risks and uncertainties, and our actual results may differ materially. For a discussion of factors that could affect our future financial results and business, please refer to the disclosure in today's earnings release, our most recent Forms 10-K and 10-Q, and the reports that we may file on Form 8-K with the Securities and Exchange Commission. All our statements are made as of today, May 22nd, 2024, based on information currently available to us. Except as required by law, we assume no obligation to update any.
My dad just texted me how much Snowflake I own.
During this call, we will discuss non-GAAP financial measures. You can find a reconciliation of these non-GAAP financial measures to GAAP financial measures in our CFO commentary, which is posted on our website. Let me highlight some upcoming events. On Sunday, June 2nd, ahead of the Computex Technology Trade Show in Taiwan, Jensen will deliver a keynote which will be held in person in Taipei, as well as streamed live. And on June 5th, we will present at the Bank of America Technology Conference in San Francisco. With that, let me turn the call over to Colette.
Thanks, Simona. Q1 was another record quarter. Revenue of $26 billion was up 18% sequentially and up 262% year on year, and well above our outlook of $24 billion. Starting with data center. Data center revenue of $22.6 billion was a record, up 23% sequentially and up 427% year on year, driven by continued strong demand for the NVIDIA Hopper GPU computing platform. Compute revenue grew more than 5x, and networking revenue more than 3x from last year. Strong sequential data center growth was driven by all customer types, led by enterprise and consumer internet companies. Large cloud providers continue to drive strong growth as they deploy and ramp NVIDIA AI infrastructure at scale and represented the mid-40s as a percentage of our data center revenue. Training and inferencing AI on NVIDIA CUDA is driving meaningful acceleration in cloud rental revenue growth, delivering an immediate and strong return on cloud providers' investment. For every $1
How does it sound? You guys can hear this, right?
Infrastructure,
it doesn't sound great, but does the job.
Opportunity to earn $5 in GPU instant hosting revenue over 4 years. NVIDIA's rich software stack and ecosystem and tight integration with cloud providers makes it easy for end customers to get up and running on NVIDIA GPU instances in the public cloud. For cloud rental customers, NVIDIA GPUs offer the best time to train models, the lowest cost to train models, and the lowest cost to inference large language models. For public cloud providers, NVIDIA brings customers to their cloud, driving revenue growth and returns on their infrastructure investments. Leading LLM companies such as OpenAI, Adept, Anthropic, Character AI, Cohere, Databricks, DeepMind, Meta, Mistral, xAI, and many others are building on NVIDIA AI in the cloud. Enterprises drove strong sequential growth in data center this quarter. We supported Tesla's expansion of their training AI cluster to 35,000 H100 GPUs. Their use of NVIDIA AI infrastructure paved the way for the breakthrough performance of FSD version 12, their latest autonomous driving software based on vision. Video transformers, while consuming significantly more computing, are enabling dramatically better autonomous driving capabilities and propelling significant growth for NVIDIA AI infrastructure across the automotive industry. We expect automotive to be our largest enterprise vertical within data center this year, driving a multi-billion revenue opportunity across on-prem and cloud consumption. Consumer internet companies are also a strong growth vertical. A big highlight this quarter was Meta's announcement of Llama 3, their latest large language model, which was trained on a cluster of 24,000 H100 GPUs. Llama 3 powers Meta AI, a new AI assistant available on Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Messenger. Llama 3 is openly available and has kickstarted a wave of AI development across industries. As generative AI makes its way into more consumer internet applications, we expect to see continued growth opportunities as inference scales both with model complexity as well as with the number of users and number of queries per user, driving much more demand for AI compute. In our trailing 4 quarters, we estimate that inference drove about 40% of our data center revenue. Both training and inference are growing significantly. Large clusters like the ones built by Meta and Tesla are examples of the essential infrastructure for AI production, what we refer to as AI factories. These next-generation data centers host advanced, full-stack, accelerated computing platforms where the data comes in and intelligence comes out. In Q1,
They felt good
we
about
worked
that
with
one.
over 100 customers building AI factories ranging in size from hundreds to tens of thousands of GPUs, with some reaching 100,000 GPUs. From a geographic perspective, data center revenue continues to diversify as countries around the world invest in sovereign AI. Sovereign AI refers to a nation's capabilities to produce artificial intelligence using its own infrastructure, data, workforce, and business networks. Nations are building up domestic computing capacity through various models. Some are procuring and operating sovereign AI clouds in collaboration with state-owned telecommunication providers or utilities. Others are sponsoring local cloud partners to provide a shared AI computing platform for public and private sector use. For example, Japan plans to invest more than $740 million in key digital infrastructure providers, including KDDI, Sakura Internet, and SoftBank, to build out the nation's sovereign AI infrastructure. France-based Scaleway, a subsidiary of the Iliad Group, is building Europe's most powerful cloud-native AI supercomputer. In Italy, Swisscom Group will build the nation's first and most powerful NVIDIA DTX-powered supercomputer to develop the first LLM natively trained in the Italian language. And in Singapore, the National Supercomputer Center is getting upgraded with NVIDIA Opera GPUs, while Singtel is building NVIDIA's accelerated AI factories across Southeast Asia. NVIDIA's ability to offer end-to-end compute to networking technologies, full-stack software, AI expertise, and rich ecosystem of partners and customers allows sovereign AI and regional cloud providers to jumpstart their country's AI ambitions. From nothing the previous year, we believe sovereign AI revenue can approach the high single-digit billions this year. The importance of AI has caught the attention of every nation. We ramped new products designed specifically for China that don't require
1,000?
export control license. Our data center revenue in China is down significantly from the level prior to the imposition of the new export control restrictions in October. We expect the market in China to remain very competitive going forward. From a product perspective, the vast majority of compute revenue was driven by our Hopper GPU architecture. Demand for Hopper during the quarter continues to increase. Thanks to CUDA algorithm, LLM
Sorry about that.
inference on H100 by up to 3x, which can translate to a 3x cost reduction for serving popular models like Llama 3. We started sampling the H200 in Q1 and are currently in production with shipments on track for Q2. The first H200 system was delivered by Jensen to Sam Altman and the team at OpenAI.
There you go.
And powered their amazing GPT-4o demos last week. H200 nearly doubles the inference performance of H100, delivering significant value for production deployments. For example, using Llama 3, which with 700 billion parameters, a single NVIDIA HGX H200 server can deliver 24,000 tokens per second, supporting more than 2,400 users at the same time. That means for every $1 spent on NVIDIA HGX H200 servers at current prices per token, an API provider serving Llama 3 tokens can generate $7 in revenue over 4 years. With ongoing software optimizations, we continue to improve the performance of NVIDIA AI infrastructure for serving AI models. While supply for H100 improved, we are still constrained on H200.
Ooh.
At the same time, Blackwell is in full production. We are working to bring up our system and cloud partners for global availability later this year. Demand for H200 and Blackwell is well ahead of supply, and we expect demand may exceed supply well into next year. Grace Hopper Superchip is shipping in volume. Last week at the International Supercomputing Conference, we announced that 9 new supercomputers worldwide are using Grace Hopper for combined 200 exaflops of energy-efficient AI processing power delivered this year. These include the Alps supercomputer at the Swiss National Supercomputing Center, the fastest AI supercomputer in Europe, Zombard AI at the University of Bristol in the UK, and Jupiter in the Jülich Supercomputing Center in Germany. We are seeing an 80% attach rate of Grace to Hopper in supercomputing due to its high energy efficiency and performance. We are also proud to see supercomputers powered with Grace Hopper take the number 1, the number 2, and the number 3 spots of the most energy efficient supercomputers in the world. Strong networking year-on-year growth was driven by
close to 1,000.
They experienced a modest sequential decline, which was largely due to the timing of supply.
Mine.
With demand well ahead of what we were able to ship.
I haven't seen it yet.
We expect networking to return to sequential growth in Q2. In the first quarter, we started shipping our new Spectrum X Ethernet networking solution optimized for AI from the ground up. It includes our Spectrum 4 switch, BlueField 3 DPU, and new software technologies to overcome the challenges of AI on Ethernet to deliver 1.6x higher networking performance for AI processing compared with traditional Ethernet. Spectrum X is ramping in volume with multiple customers, including a massive 100,000 GPU cluster. Spectrum X opens a brand new market to NVIDIA networking and enables
there we go, 1,000
to accommodate large-scale AI. We expect Spectrum X to jump to a multi-billion-dollar product line within a year. At GTC in March, we launched our next-generation AI factory platform, Blackwell. The Blackwell GPU architecture delivers up to 4x faster training and 30x faster inference than the H100 and enables real-time generative AI on trillion parameter large language models. Blackwell is a giant leap with up to 25x lower TCO and energy consumption than Hopper. The Blackwell platform includes the 5th generation NVLink with a multi-GPU spine and new InfiniBand and Ethernet switches, the X800 series, designed for a trillion parameter scale AI. Blackwell is designed to support data centers universally, from hyperscale to enterprise, training to inference,
congrats.
x86 to Grace CPUs, Ethernet to InfiniBand networking, and air cooling to liquid cooling. Blackwell will be available in over 100 OEM and ODM systems at launch, more than double the number of Hopper's launch, and representing every major computer maker in the world. This will support fast and broad adoption across the customer types, workloads, and data center environments in the first year shipments. Blackwell time to market customers include Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, OpenAI, Oracle, Tesla, and xAI. We announced a new software product with the introduction of NVIDIA Inference Microservices, or NIM. NIMs provide secure and performance-optimized containers powered by NVIDIA CUDA acceleration in network computing and inference software, including Triton Inference Server and TensorRT LLM with industry-standard APIs for a broad range of use cases, including large language models for text, speech, imaging, vision, robotics, genomics, and digital biology. They enable developers to quickly build and deploy generative AI applications using leading models from NVIDIA, AI21, Adept, Cohere, Getty Images, and Shutterstock, and open models from Google, Hugging Face, Meta, Microsoft, Mistral AI, Snowflake, and Stability AI. NIMs will be offered as part of our NVIDIA AI enterprise software platform for production deployment in the cloud or on-prem. Moving to gaming and AI PCs. Gaming revenue of $2.65 billion was down 8% sequentially and up 18% year-on-year, consistent with our outlook for a seasonal decline. The GeForce RTX Supers GPUs market reception is strong, and end demand and channel inventory remain healthy across the product range. From the very start of our AI journey, we equipped GeForce RTX GPUs with CUDA Tensor cores. Now with over 100 million of an installed base, GeForce RTX GPUs are perfect for gamers, creators, AI enthusiasts, and offer unmatched performance for running generative AI applications on PCs. NVIDIA has full technology stack for deploying and running fast and efficient generative AI inference on GeForce RTX PCs. TensorRT LLM now accelerates Microsoft i3 mini model and Google's Gemma 2B and 7B models, as well as popular AI frameworks, including LangChain and Llama Index. Yesterday, NVIDIA and Microsoft announced AI performance optimizations for Windows to help run LLMs up to 3x faster on NVIDIA GeForce RTX AI PCs. And top game developers, including NetEase Games, Tencent, and Ubisoft, are embracing NVIDIA Avatar Character Engine to create lifelike avatars to transform interactions between gamers and non-playable characters. Moving to ProViz. Revenue of $427 million was down 8% sequentially and up 45% year-on-year. We believe generative AI and Omniverse industrial digitalization will drive the next wave of professional visualization growth. At GTC, we announced new Omniverse Cloud APIs
Snowflake getting hit.
to enable developers to integrate Omniverse industrial digital twin and simulation technologies into their applications. Some of the world's largest industrial software makers are adopting these APIs, including Ansys, Cadence, 3D Excite, at Dassault Systems, Brand, and Siemens. and developers can use them to stream industrial digital twins with spatial computing devices such as Apple Vision Pro. Omniverse Cloud APIs will be available on Microsoft Azure later this year.
Microsoft Azure
Companies
later
are
this
using
year.
Omniverse to digitalize the workflows. Omniverse-powered digital twins enable Wistron, one of our manufacturing partners, to reduce end-to-end production cycle times by 50% and defect rates by 40%. And BYD, the world's largest electric vehicle maker, is adopting Omniverse for virtual factory planning and retail configurations. Moving to automotive, revenue was $329 million, up 17% sequentially and up 11% year on year. Sequential growth was driven by the ramp of AI cockpit solutions with global OEM customers and strength in our self-driving platforms. Year-on-year growth was driven primarily by self-driving. We supported Xiaomi in the successful launch of its first electric vehicle, the SU7 sedan built on the NVIDIA Drive Orin, our AI car computer for software-defined AV fleets. We also announced a number of new design wins on NVIDIA Drive Thor, the successor to Orin, powered by the new NVIDIA Blackwell architecture, with several leading EV makers, including BYD, XPeng, EAC's Ion Hyper, and Neural. Drive Thor is slated for production vehicles starting next year. Okay, moving to the rest of the P&L. GAAP gross margin expanded sequentially to 78.4% and non-GAAP gross margins to 78.9% on lower inventory charges. As noted last quarter, both Q4 and Q1 benefited from favorable component costs. Sequentially, GAAP operating expenses were up 10% and non-GAAP operating expenses were up 13%, primarily reflecting higher compensation-related costs and increased compute and infrastructure investments. In Q1, we returned $7.8 billion to shareholders in the form of share repurchases and cash dividends. Today, we announced a 10-for-1 split of our shares, with June 10th as the first day of trading on a split-adjusted basis. We are also increasing our dividend by 150%. Let me turn to the outlook for the second quarter. Total revenue is expected to be $28 billion, plus or minus 2%. We expect sequential growth in all market platforms. GAAP and non-GAAP gross margins are expected to be 74.8% and 75.5%, respectively, plus or minus 50 basis points, consistent with our discussion last quarter. For the full year, we expect gross margins to be in the mid-70% range. GAAP and non-GAAP operating expenses are expected to be approximately $4 billion and $2.8 billion, respectively. Full year OPEX is expected to grow in the low 40% range. GAAP and non-GAAP other income and expenses are expected to be an income of approximately $300 million, excluding gains and losses from non-affiliated investments. GAAP and non-GAAP tax rates are expected to be 17% plus or minus 1%, excluding any discrete items. Further financial details are included in the CFO commentary and other information available on our IR website.
All right, let's get to Jensen.
I would like to now turn it over to Jensen, as he would like to make a few comments.
Hi, Jensen.
Thanks, Colette. The industry is going through a major change. Before we start Q&A, let me give you some perspective on the importance of the transformation.
Great.
The next
Fair enough.
Industrial revolution has begun. Companies and countries are partnering with NVIDIA to shift the $1 trillion installed base of traditional data centers to accelerated computing and build a new type of data center, AI factories, to produce a new commodity, artificial intelligence. AI will bring significant productivity gains to nearly every industry and help companies be more cost and energy efficient while expanding revenue opportunities. CSPs were the first generative AI movers. With NVIDIA, CSPs accelerated workloads to save money and power. The tokens generated by NVIDIA Hopper drive revenues for their AI services. And NVIDIA Cloud instances attract rental customers from a rich ecosystem of developers. Strong and accelerating demand for generative AI training and inference on the Hopper platform propels our data center growth. Training continues to scale as models learn to be multimodal, understanding text, speech, images, video, and 3D, and learn to reason and plan. Our inference workloads are growing incredibly. With generative AI, inference, which is now about fast token generation at massive scale, has become incredibly complex. Generative AI is driving a from foundation up, full stack computing platform shift that will transform every computer interaction. From today's information retrieval model, we are shifting to an answers and skills generation model of computing. AI will understand context and our intentions, be knowledgeable, reason, plan, and perform tasks. We are fundamentally changing how computing works and what computers can do. From general purpose CPU to GPU accelerated computing, from instruction-driven software to intention understanding models, from retrieving information to performing skills. And at the industrial level, from producing software to generating tokens, manufacturing digital intelligence. Token generation will drive a multi-year build-out of AI factories. Beyond cloud service providers, generative AI has expanded to consumer internet companies and enterprise, sovereign AI, automotive, and healthcare customers, creating multiple multi-billion-dollar vertical markets. The Blackwell platform is in full production and forms the foundation for trillion parameter scale generative AI. The combination of Grace CPU, Blackwell GPUs, NVLink, Quantum, Spectrum, Nixon switches, high-speed interconnects, and a rich ecosystem of software and partners let us expand and offer a richer and more complete solution for AI factories than previous generations. Spectrum X opens a brand new market for us to bring large-scale AI to Ethernet-only data centers. And NVIDIA NIMS is our new software offering that delivers enterprise-grade, optimized generative AI to run on CUDA everywhere, from the cloud to on-prem data centers to RTX AI PCs through our expansive network of ecosystem partners. From Blackwell to Spectrum X to NIMS, we are poised for the next wave of growth. Thank you.
Thank you, Jensen. We will now open the call for questions. Operator, could you please poll for questions?
At this time, I would like to remind everyone,
Let's
in
go,
order
Cam.
to ask a question,
Shout out.
press star, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad. We'll pause for just a moment to compile the
Crazy.
Q&A roster. As a reminder,
Little too
please
much.
limit yourself to one question.
Not actually, you're chilling.
Your first question comes from the line of Stacy Rasgon with Bernstein. Please go ahead.
Let's get back to this. Sorry, guys.
Hi guys, thanks for taking my
Oh
questions.
my God, Snowflake.
My first one, I wanted to drill a little bit into
I know,
the
we're good.
Blackwell comments that it's in full production now. What does that suggest with regard to shipments and delivery timing if that product doesn't sound like it's sampling anymore? What does it mean when it's actually in customers' hands if it's in production now?
We will be shipping. Well, we've been in
Interesting,
production for a little bit
Nice.
of time, but our
Very nice.
production shipments will start in Q2 and ramp in Q3, and customers should have data centers stood up in Q4.
Got it. So this year we will see Blackwell revenue, sounds like.
We will see a lot of Blackwell revenue this year.
Our next question will come from the line of Timothy R. Curry with UBS. Please go ahead.
Thanks a lot. I wanted to ask Jensen about the deployment of Blackwell versus Hopper. Just given the system's nature and all the demand for GD that you have, how does the deployment of this stuff differ from Hopper? I guess I ask because liquid cooling at scale hasn't been done before, and there's some engineering challenges both at the node level and within the data center. So do these complexities sort of elongate the transition, and how do you sort of think about how that's all going? Thanks.
Yeah, Blackwell comes in many configurations. Blackwell is a platform, not a GPU. And the platform includes support for air-cooled, liquid-cooled, x86, and Grace, InfiniBand, now Spectrum X, and very large NVLink domain that I demonstrated at GTC, that I showed at GTC. And so for some customers, they will ramp into their existing install base.
Oh, it like that. That wasn't
data centers that are already shipping Hoppers. They will easily transition from H100 to H200 to B100. And so Blackwell systems have been designed to be backwards compatible, if you will, electrically, mechanically.
PPM.
And of course, the software stack that runs on Hopper will run fantastically on Blackwell. We also timing the pump, if you will, with the entire ecosystem, getting them ready for liquid cooling. We've been talking to the ecosystem about Blackwell for quite some time. And the CSPs, the data centers,
I don't know anything about India markets, I won't lie.
Our supply chain beyond them, the cooling supply chain base.
Isn't Synopsys?
The liquid cooling supply chain base, data center supply chain base. No one is going to be surprised with Blackwell coming and the capabilities that we would like to deliver with Grace Blackwell 200.
I do have a big Indian audience,
so
it's not too crazy. Big Indian audience, big Japanese audience.
Our next question will come from the line of Vivek Arya with Bank of America Securities. Please go ahead.
Thanks for taking my question. Jensen, how are you ensuring that there is enough utilization of your products and that there isn't a pull ahead or hoarding behavior because of tight supply, competition, or other factors? What checks have you built in the system to give us confidence
views.
that monetization is keeping pace with your really very strong shipment growth?
Well, I guess there's the big picture view that I'll come to, and then I'll answer your question directly. The demand for GPUs in all the data centers is incredible. We're racing every single day, and the reason for that is because applications like ChatGPT and GPT-4o, and now it's going to be multimodality, and Gemini and its ramp and Anthropic, and all of the work that's being done.
You forgot
all those CSPs are consuming every GPU that's out there. There's also a long line of generative AI startups. Some 15,000, 20,000 startups that in all different fields, from multimedia to digital characters, of course, all kinds of design tool productivity applications, digital biology, the moving of the AV industry to video, so that they can train end-to-end models.
Japan is interesting.
To expand
a lot of Japanese people are interested in the
cars.
stock market, though, just from what I've seen.
It's just quite extraordinary. We're racing,
Japanese
actually.
and Indian. You got a lot of German people in this chat too, by the way. So interesting.
Putting a lot of pressure on us to deliver the systems and stand it up as quickly as possible. And of course, I haven't even mentioned all of the sovereign AIs who would like to train all of their regional natural resource of their country, which is their data, to train their regional models. And there's a lot of pressure to stand those systems up. So anyhow, the demand, I think, is really, really high, and it outstrips our supply. Longer term, that's the reason why I jumped in to make a few comments. Longer term, we're completely redesigning how computers work, and this is a platform shift. Of course, it's been compared to other platform shifts in the past, but time will clearly tell that this is much more profound than previous platform shifts. And the reason for that is because the computer is no longer an instruction-driven only computer. It's an intention understanding computer. And it understands, of course, the way we interact with it, but it also understands our meaning, what we intend, that we asked it to do, and it has the ability to reason, inference iteratively to process a plan, and come back with a solution. And so every aspect of the computer is changing in such a way that instead of retrieving pre-recorded files, it is now generating contextually relevant, intelligent answers. And so that's going to change computing stacks all over the world. And you saw at Build that, in fact, even the PC computing stack is going to get revolutionized. And this is just the beginning of all the things that, what people see today are the beginning of the things that we're working in our labs and the things that we're doing with all the startups and large companies and developers all over the world. It's going to be quite extraordinary.
Our next question will come from the line of Joe Moore with Morgan Stanley. Please go ahead.
Great, thank you. Understanding what you just said about how strong demand is, you have a lot of demand for H200 and for Blackwell products. Do you anticipate any kind of pause with Hopper and H100 as you sort of migrate to those products? Will people wait for those new products, which would be a good product to have, or do you think there's enough demand for H100 to sustain growth?
We see increasing demand of Hopper through this quarter. And we expect demand to outstrip supply for some time. As we now transition to H200, as we transition to Blackwell. Everybody is anxious to get their infrastructure online. And the reason for that is because they're saving money and making money, and they would like to do that as soon as possible.
Our next question will come from the line of Toshiya Hari with Goldman Sachs. Please go ahead.
Hi, thank you so much for taking the question. Jensen, I wanted to ask about competition. I think many of your cloud customers have announced, new or updates to their existing internal programs, right, in parallel to what they're working on with you guys. To what extent did you consider them as competitors, medium to long term? And in your view, do you think they're limited to addressing mostly internal workloads, or could they be broader in what they address going forward? Thank you.
Yeah, we're different in several ways. First, NVIDIA's accelerated computing architecture allows customers to process every aspect of their pipeline, from unstructured data processing to prepare for training, to structured data processing, data frame processing like SQL to prepare for training, to training to inference. And as I was mentioning in my remarks, that inference has really fundamentally changed. It's now
my last Tesla buy was
it's not trying to just detect
147.35
which was
on April 19th.
Hard in itself, but it has to generate every pixel of a cat. And so the generation process is a fundamentally different processing architecture. And it's one of the reasons why TensorRT LLM was so well received. We improved the performance in using the same chips on our architecture by a factor of 3.
No, I bought it a month ago.
About the richness of our architecture and the richness of our software. So one, you could use NVIDIA for
what's your Reddit cost
everything
basis?
from computer vision to image processing to computer graphics to, all modalities of computing. And as the world is now suffering from computing cost and computing energy inflation because general purpose computing has run its course, accelerated computing is really the sustainable way of going forward. So accelerated computing is how you're going to save money in computing, is how you're going to save energy in computing. And so the versatility of our platform results in the lowest TCO for their data centers. Second, we're in every cloud. And so for developers that are looking for a platform to develop on, starting with NVIDIA is always a great choice. And we're on-prem, we're in the cloud, we're in computers of any size and shape. Oh, no. We're practically everywhere. And so that's the second reason. The third reason has to do with the fact that we build AI factories. And this is becoming more and apparent to people that the AI is not a chip problem only. It starts, of course, with very good chips. And we build a whole bunch of chips for our AI factories, but it's a systems problem. In fact, even AI is
I haven't done my due diligence into Reddit.
It's not just one large language model. It's a complex
I'll be back in half a second.
Of a whole bunch of large language models that are working together. And so the fact that NVIDIA builds the system causes us to optimize all of our chips to work together as a system, to be able to have software that operates as a system, and to be able to optimize across the system. And just to put it in perspective in simple numbers, if you had a $5 billion infrastructure and you improve the performance by a factor of 2, which we routinely do, when you improve the infrastructure by a factor of 2, the value to you is $5 billion. All the chips in that data center doesn't pay for it. And so the value of it is really quite extraordinary. And this is the reason why today performance matters everything. This is at a time when the highest performance is also the lowest cost, because the infrastructure cost of carrying all of these chips costs a lot of money, and it takes a lot of money to fund the data center, to operate the data center, the people that goes along with it, the power that goes along with it, the real estate that goes along with it. All of it adds up. And so the highest performance is also the lowest TCO.
Our next question will come from the line of Matt Ramsey with TD Cowen. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Jensen, I've been in the data center industry my whole career. I've never seen the velocity that you guys are introducing new platforms at the same combination of the performance jumps that you're getting. 5x in training. Some of the stuff you talked about at GTC up to 30x in inference. And that it's an amazing thing to watch, but it also creates an interesting juxtaposition where the current generation of product that your customers are spending billions of dollars on, it's going to be not as competitive with your new stuff very, very much more quickly than the depreciation cycles of that product. So I'd like you to, if you wouldn't mind, speak a little bit about how you're seeing that situation evolve itself with customers. As you move to Blackwell, they're going to have very large installed bases, obviously software compatible, but large installed bases of product that's not nearly as performant as your new generation stuff. And it'd be interesting to hear what you see happening with customers along that path. Thank you.
Yeah, really appreciate it. Three points that I'd like to make. If you're 5% into the build out versus if you're 95% into the build out, you're going to feel very differently. And because you're only 5% into the build out, anyhow, you build as fast as you can. And when Blackwell comes, it's going to be terrific. And then after Blackwell, as you mentioned, we have other Blackwells coming. And then we're on a 1-year rhythm as we explained to the world. and we want our customers to see our roadmap for as far as they like, but they're early in their build out anyways, and so they have to just keep on building. Okay, and so there's going to be a whole bunch of chips coming at them, and they just got to keep on building and just, if you will, performance average your way into it. So that's the smart thing to do. They need to make money today. They want to save money today, and time is really, really valuable to them. Let me give you an example of time being really valuable. Why this idea of standing up a data center instantaneously is so valuable, and getting this thing called time to train is so valuable. The reason for that is because the next company who reaches the next major plateau gets to announce a groundbreaking AI. And the second one after that gets to announce something that's, 0.3% better. And so the question is, do you want to be repeatedly the company delivering groundbreaking AI, or the company, delivering 0.3% better? And that's the reason why this race, as in all technology races, the race is so important. And you're seeing this race across multiple companies, because this is so vital to have technology leadership, for companies to trust the leadership and want to build on your platform, and know that the platform that they're building on is going to get better and better. And so leadership matters a great deal. Time to train matters a great deal. The difference between time to train that is, 3 months earlier just to get it done, in order to get time to train on a 3 months project, getting started 3 months earlier is everything. And so it's the reason why we're standing up Hopper systems like mad right now, because the next plateau is just around the corner. And so that's the second reason. The first comment that you made is really a great comment, which is, how is it that we're moving so fast and advancing so quickly? Because we have all the stats here. We literally built the entire data center, and we can monitor everything, measure everything, optimize across everything. We know where all the bottlenecks are. We're not guessing about it. We're not putting up PowerPoint slides that look good. We're actually, we also like our PowerPoint slides to look good, but we're delivering systems that perform at scale. And the reason why we know they perform at scale is because we built it all here. Now, one of the things that we do that's a bit of a miracle is that we build entire AI infrastructures here, but then we disaggregate it and integrate it into our customers' data centers however they like. But we know how it's going to perform, and we know where the bottlenecks are. We know where we need to optimize with them, and we know where we have to help them improve their infrastructure to achieve the most performance. This deep, intimate knowledge at the entire data center scale is fundamentally what sets us apart today. We build every single chip from the ground up. We know exactly how processing is done across the entire system. And so we understand exactly how it's going to perform and how to get the most out of it with every single generation. And so I appreciate it. Those are the 3 points.
Your next question will come from the line of Mark Lupakis with Evercore ISI. Please go ahead.
Hi, thanks for taking my question. Jensen, in the past, you've made the observation that general purpose computing ecosystems typically dominated each computing era, and I believe the argument was that they could adapt to different workloads, get higher utilization, drive cost compute cycle down, and this was a motivation for why you were driving to a general purpose GPU CUDA ecosystem for accelerated computing. And if I mischaracterize that observation, please do let me know. So the question is, given that the workloads that are driving demand for your solutions are being driven by neural network training and inferencing, which on the surface seem like a limited number of workloads, then it might also seem to lend themselves to custom solutions. And so then the question is that does the general purpose computing framework become more at risk, or is there enough variability or a rapid enough evolution on these workloads that support that historical general purpose framework? Thank you.
Yeah, NVIDIA's accelerated computing is versatile, but I wouldn't call it general purpose. Like, for example, we wouldn't be very good at running the spreadsheet. that was really designed for general purpose computing. And so there's the control loop of an operating system code probably isn't fantastic for general purpose computing. Not for.
Chat, give me half a second. I am sorry.
We have reinvented
Posting this to YouTube Shorts.
For the first time since.
Chat. Come on, be quick.
60 years ago.
Load.
We have.
There we go. Let me get back to the spaces quick. Make sure I don't get kicked out.
Commonalities. They're all things that I can run in parallel. They're
Sorry,
all
chat.
Threaded. 5% of the code.
All right, that's out. Chat, we should be coming back.
Over the course
Done.
of the last
Sorry. Love you, bye.
10 years or so, the number of startups that you guys have asked me about in these conference calls is fairly large. And every single one of them, because of the brittleness of their architecture, the moment generative AI came along, or the moment diffusion models came along, the moment the next models are coming along now. And now all of a sudden, look at this, large language models with memory. Because the large language model needs to have memory so they can carry on a conversation with you, understand the context. All of a sudden, the versatility of the Grace memory became super important. And so each one of these advances in generative AI and the advancement of AI really begs for not having a widget that's designed for one model, but to have something that is really good for this entire domain, properties of this entire domain, but obeys the first principles of software. That software is going to continue to evolve. That software is going to keep getting better and bigger. We believe in the scaling of these models. There's a lot of reasons why we're going to scale by easily 1 million times in the coming few years for good reasons, and we're looking forward to it, and we're ready for it. And so the versatility of our platform is really quite key. And it's not if you're too brittle and too specific, you might as well just build an FPGA or you build an ASIC or something like that. But that's hardly a computer.
Our next question will come from the line of Blaine Curtis with Jefferies. Please go ahead.
Hey, thanks for taking my question. I actually kind of curious. I mean, being supply constrained, how do you think about? I mean, you came out with a product for China H20. I'm assuming there'd be a ton of demand for it, but obviously you're trying to serve your customers with the other Hopper products. Just kind of curious how you're thinking about that in the second half. You could elaborate, any impact, what you're thinking for sales as well as gross margin.
I didn't hear the questions. Something bleeped out.
H20 and how you're thinking about allocating supply between the different Hopper products.
Well, we have customers that we honor, and we do our best for every customer. It is the case that our business in China is substantially lower than the levels of the past, and it's a lot more competitive in China now because of the limitations on our technology, and so those matters are true. However, we continue to do our best to serve the customers and the markets there, and to the best of our ability, we'll do our best. And so, but that, I think overall the comments that we made about demand outstripping supply is for the entire market, and particularly so for H200 and Blackwell towards the end of the year.
Let me get back to here.
Our next question will come from the line of Srini Pajjuri with Raymond James. Please go ahead.
Questions, this and then one more probably.
Thank you. Jensen, actually more of a clarification on what you said. GB200 systems, it looks like there's a significant demand for systems. Historically, I think you've sold a lot of HGX boards and some GPUs, and the systems business was relatively small. So I'm just curious, why is it that now you are seeing such a strong demand for systems going forward? Is it just the TCO, or is it something else, or is it just the architecture? Thank you.
Appreciate that. In fact, the way we sell GB200 is the same. We disaggregate all of the components that make sense, and
you always
we
have to
integrate
reevaluate.
them into computer makers. We have 100 different computer sys configurations that are coming this year for Blackwell, and that is off the charts. Hopper, frankly, had only half, but that's at its peak. It started out with way less than that even, and so you're going to see liquid cooled version, air cooled version, x86 versions, Grace versions, so on and so forth. And there's a whole bunch of systems that are being designed, and they're offered from all of our ecosystem of great partners. Nothing has really changed. Now, of course, the Blackwell platform has expanded our offering tremendously. The integration of CPUs and the much more compressed density of computing, liquid cooling is going to save data centers a lot of money in provisioning power, and not to mention to be more energy efficient. And so it's a much better solution. It's more expansive, meaning that we offer a lot more components of a data center, and everybody wins. The data center gets much higher performance, networking, from networking switches, networking, of course, NICs. We have Ethernet now, so that we can bring NVIDIA AI to...
No, I was a financial advisor before this.
Large-scale NVIDIA AI to customers
financial
who
advisor.
Only know how to operate Ethernet because of the ecosystem that they have, and so Blackwell is much more expansive. We have a lot more to offer our customers this generation around.
Our next question will come from the line of William Stein with Truist Securities. Please go ahead.
Jeez, they're going a long time. Normally that's the last
Great.
question.
Thanks for taking my question. Jensen, at some point, NVIDIA decided that while there were reasonably good CPUs available for data center operations, your ARM-based Grace CPU provided some real advantage that made that technology worth delivering to customers, perhaps related to cost or power consumption or technical synergies between Grace and Hopper or Grace and Blackwell. Can you address whether there could be a similar dynamic that might emerge on the client side, whereby while there are very good solutions, you've highlighted that Intel and AMD are very good partners and deliver great products in x86, but there might be some, especially in emerging AI workloads, some advantage that NVIDIA can deliver that others have more of a challenge?
Paul, the show goes on.
You mentioned some really good reasons. It is true that for many of the applications, our partnership with x86, our x86 partners are really terrific, and we build excellent systems together. But Grace allows us to do something that isn't possible with the system configuration today. The memory system between Grace and Hopper are coherent and connected. The interconnect between the two chips, calling it two chips is almost weird because it's like a super chip. The two of them are connected with this interface. That's like a terabytes per second. It's off the charts. And the memory that's used by Grace is LPDDR. It's the first data center grade low power memory. And so we save a lot of power on every single node. And then finally, because of the architecture, because we can create our own architecture with the entire system now, we could create something that has a really large NVLink domain, which is vitally
Exchanges
important
will
to
work
the
it
next
out for you,
generation large
Wes.
language models for inferencing. You saw that GB200 has a 72 node NVLink domain. That's like 72 Blackwells connected together into one giant GPU. And so we needed Grace Blackwells to be able to do that. And so there are architectural reasons, there are software programming reasons, and then there's system reasons that are essential for us to build them that way. And so if we see opportunities like that, we'll explore it. And so today, as you saw
Paige, I'll answer when the call's over.
Build yesterday, which I thought was really excellent. Satya announced the next generation PCs, Copilot plus PC, which runs fantastically on NVIDIA's RTX GPUs that are shipping in laptops, but it also supports ARM beautifully, and so it opens up opportunities for system innovation, even for PCs.
Our last question comes from the line of C.J. Muse with Cantor Fitzgerald. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thank you for taking the question. I guess, Jensen, a bit of a longer-term question. I know Blackwell hasn't even launched yet, but obviously investors are forward-looking, and amidst rising potential competition from GPUs and custom ASICs, how are you thinking about NVIDIA's pace of innovation ahead? Your million-fold scaling of the last decade, truly impressive. Kudos, sparsity, precision, Grace, coherent connectivity. When you look forward, what frictions need to be solved in the coming decade? And I guess maybe more importantly, what are you willing to share with us today?
Well, I can announce that after Blackwell, there's another chip. and we are on a 1-year rhythm. And so you can also count on us having new networking technology on a very fast rhythm. We're announcing Spectrum X for Ethernet, but we're all in on Ethernet, and we have a really exciting roadmap coming for Ethernet. We have a rich ecosystem of partners. Dell announced that they're taking Spectrum X to market. We have a rich ecosystem of customers and partners who are going to announce taking our entire AI factory architecture to market. And so for companies that want the ultimate performance, we have InfiniBand Computing Fabric. InfiniBand is a computing fabric. Ethernet's a network. And InfiniBand, over the years, started out as a computing fabric, became a better and better network. Ethernet is a network. And with Spectrum X, we're going to make it a much better computing fabric. And we're fully committed to all three links. NVLink computing fabric for a single computing domain, to InfiniBand computing fabric, to Ethernet networking computing fabric. And so we're going to take all three of them forward at a very fast clip. And so you're going to see new switches coming, new NICs coming, new capability, new software stacks that run on all three of them. New CPUs, new GPUs, new networking NICs, new switches, a mountain of chips that are coming. And all of it, the beautiful thing is all of it runs CUDA. And all of it runs our entire software stack. So if you invest today on our software stack, without doing anything at all, it's just going to get faster and faster and faster and faster. And if you invest in our architecture today, without doing anything, it will go to more and more clouds and more data centers, and everything just runs. And so I think the pace of innovation that we're bringing will drive up the capability on the one hand and drive down the TCO on the other hand. And so we should be able to scale out with the NVIDIA architecture for this new era of
computing,
Jensen
at all costs,
and start this new industrial revolution where we manufacture not just software anymore, but we manufacture artificial intelligence tokens, and we're going to do that at scale. Thank you.
That will conclude our question and answer session and our call for today. We thank you all for
There we
joining,
go.
and you may now disconnect.
You may now disconnect. So, how we feeling? Stock is still over 1,000 here. 105. 1,005.
What the call?
What are you listening to music in the background there? What's happening there?
Trading at 1,005.
That was pretty insane. Basically, they're
Hey,
saying
guys, show how
they're
much revenue
supply
is now for big
constraint,
tech
not
that are
demand
buying
constraint
these
for the
ratio.
foreseeable future, which
Costs.
is
Also,
mind
big
blowing.
tech work on.
Hey, did I get that through 2026? And he said
That's what I got.
chip is already in the works after Blackwell.
I don't know if he said that. He just said that there
tweet
will
that.
be another chip after it. I don't know if he said it's currently in the works.
I think the fact they talked about their demand base growing, their customer base growing, broadening into new industries, they're expecting those to accelerate as well.
All right, we'll get back to listening to this, some of the recap. Okay. Craig, I don't know if you like my thought process here. I sometimes regret not joining like a company first and having those insights instead of just going on my own. Now, it's worked out really well for me, and I hope it works out well for you, but I definitely think I would have gotten some value with working with kind of a news finance company before this. But, here I am, successful and going thing. Next Gen, you are not wrong here. But it takes some time for them to build up these revenues. So they are trying to get off of NVIDIA chips, and they haven't really seen the revenue yet. But here's the key. If NVIDIA can continue its pace of innovation, these hyperscalers, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, cannot afford to use their own chips and be behind the game. So the way NVIDIA solves that is by innovating faster than these other companies can. All right, let's listen to some of the recaps.
I thought it was excellent overall. Me and Kevin were kind of DMing about it during the call, but I did agree that he did try to skirt some of the questions about the H100 and H200.
But Craig, do it. You can be successful. Here I am. But
the demand that they're seeing now is going to last.
I think there is some value of working with the company first and understanding what's happening and getting first case stuff.
At least on the supply side, he said.
But I really don't want to discourage you from what you're doing.
Better, but he was still, very short on the H200. So he provided a little bit of color, but yeah, he didn't really directly answer those questions. But fundamentally, what he was saying is that the demand is so high that whether or not they can deliver one chip versus another, they're going to be delivering chips.
That's a good idea.
It's not just about the demand. I think what quelled investors'
that sounds good, Craig.
About this air pocket story, which
if you're good in this stock market game, you'll make a lot of money no matter what it is. Investing, finances, personal stuff, or whatever. If you can help people make money, you'll make a lot of money.
They kind of quelled that by saying, look, we pulled forward the Blackwell program significantly, and the demand for the Blackwell program exceeds.
You just got to keep moving forward, keep grinding.
Because once they say that, then it's like, okay, it doesn't matter. You're already selling through your next generation, and you're pulling forward the release date of it and the production of it. Then, that
nice.
quells those concerns right away.
Good job, Craig.
Yeah, 100%.
Monative, you got your hand up?
Yeah, so a few things. He did say that they are supply constrained for H100 also for one more quarter. So that's call that out.
It's all about shareholder value.
So, but they see no problem there at least one more quarter. High single-digit billions in sovereign revenue. For the industry, I'm guessing a vast majority of that is going to go to NVIDIA just because it's an ecosystem play. If companies can't keep up, doing their own integration, building their own networking, their software stack onto it, how likely is a country's data center going to try to put it together themselves, right? So there's a lot going on. For now, this is really NVIDIA's game. It's already been mentioned, some of the highlights, significant Blackwell revenue this year. They are bringing out a new generation every year. They are just not going to wait for anybody to catch up. They're going to move that distance further and further away. There's really nothing in that call or in the question answer session that was not bullish. These guys are really, really firing on all cylinders. They have their plan in place. They have the customers' confidence that they're delivering, and the customers are all lined up behind them. This is really NVIDIA's game to lose, and they have so much going on that they're going to drag the rest of the sector with them. There's really nothing negative here. I mean, the last set was most interesting to me from the point of view of the industry about how much they are doing within the Ethernet space. That is going after Broadcom's bread and butter. So we'll have to see, how much the competition heats up directly between them, because they're also, working together on lots of things. But this is exemplary, call. I just have to say that even after 5-6 quarters of seeing
And
these
Q gap up.
ridiculous beats, they are still
1200
providing
feels
enough
like a lot.
data to keep the market interested. That they're far from done.
I mean, one of the interesting things about how this business developed was, in 93, Jensen buddied up with two of his friends and started this company to build a 3D graphics chip for Sega Dreamcast. If you guys remember Sega Dreamcast in the 90s, they failed. Like, that chip didn't meet specifications. They almost went bankrupt in 93. In 94, Sega he convinced them to invest $5 million. And so Sega saved the company. They sold a couple of years later for $15 million, made $10 million in profit. If they kept that stake, as of today's close, would have been worth $600 billion. Sega itself is only worth $3 billion today, Sega Sammy in Japan. So their stake would have been worth 200 times the value of their company today. Just an unreal story. And this shift, from graphics to AI.
You probably have the right valuation along the way.
I'm sure they had some, they IPO'd in 99. Maybe they did some other rounds. It's unclear. But if you were just to assume,
it's 2000
yeah, exactly.
At least.
Exactly. I mean, this call was just, it was unreal. I mean, last call I thought was very impressive as well. I mean, data center revenues at 427%.
Back under 1,000.
Right, year over year. What I thought was impressive was they did $15 billion of free cash, right? Like $15.4 billion of operating cash flow. They have
I don't know if we get to 1,200.
Minimal capex, and so they were on a run rate to do $60 billion of free cash, 75 next year, and there's when you're generating that much cash flow, right? There's really not a lot you can say is negative, and the speed of their free cash flow growth is also just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I could see that.
The top line for a company of this size,
I think tomorrow's going to be a good day.
There's really no other company you can find with the top line accelerating like this. And it's not clear to me, right, what comes after the H200. But, if he's serious about a new generation coming out every year, it's a very large percentage of CapEx of, the Mag 5 names is going into this company. Right, so they have, this unlimited capital coming in, for the as long as the company sees
Nick, should I go live tomorrow?
On that capex, they'll continue to spend.
Maybe I go live tomorrow morning.
It may not even be clear what the ROI is, so they'll continue to spend for the next couple years.
Would you guys want a morning space?
Until
morning stream?
Until people figure out, okay,
live at 8:45, 9 a.m.
Investment.
Talk through some of these NVIDIA stuff.
Yeah, I think we're based on the demand they have for the
down.
H200. You're not really going to know what
probably
the
take Friday off,
ROI
but
is
tomorrow
on
I'm
this
down.
CapEx spend until well into next year.
I'm pretty sure this is unprecedented growth for a company this size. I mean, to put things in perspective, they had more profits this quarter than last year this quarter in revenue by a factor of 2. So their profits is 2 times higher than their entire revenue for last year this time. It's
Eastern time zone. Sorry. Yeah, that is a wild stat. Wild stat. There was some good talk on this call though. I think the problem is
Anyone else's time?
What'd you say?
After the 2-hour call, I suppose.
1 hour call. Don't get ahead of yourself, buddy.
Something like that. You know what? I'm so surprised. Kathy Woods doesn't own NVIDIA. The way she doubts, being the.
It's probably one of the funniest things of this year, man. Like, she owns.
Yeah, true goats in here, Paul.
The 2 best trades of the year.
491 total viewers came in though. That's crazy.
Weight loss, drugs,
just
which
stuck
are
my
still
toe.
in short
Oh,
supply.
that hurt so much.
They have to compound them, and the second one is this AI trade. And the AI trade is not just NVIDIA, right? The AI trade is
SMCI,
AMD, SMCI, Dell,
even
VRT, TSM, AMD, Micron,
400.
AVGO,
Where do you think we're at watch
AMD,
hours?
Oracle, Qualcomm, VST on the power side. You know, this is a huge, there's so many names she could have gotten. Talent on the power side. There's so many names that she could have gotten exposure to. It's not even funny. And she missed every single one.
You're telling me Roku isn't the viable AI station?
If she
150.
becomes bullish on NVIDIA, all of a sudden she'll have a $28,000
132.5 watch hours.
That's how she works.
132 is good. I know we have Ivana up here.
Qualcomm.
Gerg.
Qualcomm doesn't get enough love. Stocks up like 50% and you do that.
Part of me thinks Gerg can't hear me, but
100% in the last 1 year. Like, no one really talks about that on Twitter for some reason.
Yeah, I've been talking about it. I have a position in it.
You do? What does he own now? Other than AMC and
I feel like no one
GM,
can hear me in the spaces.
I took a recent position in both TSM and Qualcomm. I think Qualcomm.
Are you still long LTHM or are you still out of that name?
No. I didn't want to go through with the split on that one, and it ended up being a good decision. Most of those smaller stocks split up. But yeah, on Qualcomm, I mean, I think that Microsoft chip news for their AI computers is positive, and I think the market's going to give it
I don't really want
more
to do a
narrative
webcam.
credit
You're right,
than it
though,
deserves in the
Craigs.
short term
100%. This is
fundamentally.
not
I think it's going to be a massive fundamental mover
I
for
do not
them,
have to
but I
set
think
up
the
for a
market's
very
gonna move the
successful
stock
live
off it.
stream. 100%.
It's been a really, really
We'll
strong
see. I don't
relative
know.
outperformer in the past couple sessions, Qualcomm actually, even with a lot of the volatility we've seen in the semi names. TSM, I just think, is a secular beneficiary of this whole thing. I think over time, they're going to continue to see growth in this segment, and it's going to become a bigger and bigger and bigger portion of their revenue, and I think the market is seeing that too. I mean, the stock's up like 3% after hours, but I think it'll be up a lot more in the coming year and a half. That's probably one of the next $1 trillion companies, in my view.
I think one topic we missed is how the Goldman Sachs CEO, David Solomon, came out and says now he expects no rate cuts this year.
Dude, the moment he came out and said no rate cuts, I'm like, we're definitely seeing a cut. It's like, with the moment Goldman expresses their views externally, they've already, regurgitated it 3-4 different ways internally. And especially if you look at oil, whenever they say oil is bullish, they're wrong. Whenever they're bearish, it goes up. And the same thing happens with rates. The only
Goldman sell side sucks.
Goldman sell side is just terrible, especially the strategists.
I mean, how is the CEO sell side though? Like, I wouldn't say
the CEO is not sell side, but the CEO is a banker. He likely doesn't even have a view. He's getting his views from the sell side. Like, he's talking to his employees and getting views. Like, this guy was not a trader. He wasn't playing fiend. He's a DJ. He's a fucking DJ, like, deal maker. Right? So his views on macro are likely coming from the equity research guys.
I still think we see 2 cuts in Q4 of this year.
Well, yeah, that's why. I mean, I think, like, listen, we had the minutes. I don't want to take away from the conversation, but you saw in the minutes that the Fed was worried about, inflation coming a little bit higher, but they also slowing down. The whole energy rally that we were anticipating because of this OPEC supply cuts, right? Biden is unleashing, both gas. Yeah, and even more on the oil side, right? Potentially. And there are 2 countries that have left OPEC, and Iraq is going to, is potentially not going to agree to additional cuts from the current cuts that we have. And we're in the middle of driving season. So if you don't have an oil
this is the spaces.
You're looking at a scenario where inflation kind of stays in the high 2s. It doesn't mean that they're going to cut that much, but it probably means that after the election, or before, they're going to cut at least once. I mean, the economic data is not getting better from here. You see Target earnings. Target stock is down 10%. Like, comp sales down 4%.
But to be honest, Walmart is doing pretty well.
Walmart's doing well, but it's kind of like the lowest common denominator. Walmart is actually a stock that does well during recessions. But like all of the...
Or do you think Target raised the prices a bit too high? Because yesterday they came out and said they're cutting prices of 5,000 staples across the country, if I remember correctly.
So Target's a little bit more expensive. They did say they were cutting on 5,000 SKUs. McDonald's missed. Starbucks missed. Like there are a handful of companies this quarter on the consumer side that have missed, and it's clear.
I think even Wendy's.
Yes, I do buy stocks at all-time highs sometimes. Stocks hit new all-time highs all the time.
Why? Because of unlimited shrimp. You know, Red Lobster lost half their enterprise value on unlimited shrimp.
If you didn't want to buy NVIDIA at all-time highs,
themselves, and it just filed for bankruptcy this past
you would have sold
week.
out at 344. Here we are
couldn't
at
attract
1,000.
enough demand to even, with that. People would just go and they wouldn't order anything else.
All-time
They would
highs is
just
bullish
eat
for stocks.
shrimp,
Don't let
and the
anyone tell
company
you
would
otherwise,
lose
in my
money every
opinion.
day. They're losing like $500-$600,000
Better
a
hold
day.
here forever if they had to. I don't disagree. I see one rate cut coming this year.
Fair, I don't know why the Thai Union bought them out. Like, do you remember them after that and sold them?
I couldn't hear.
He asked why he thought Thai Union.
Is actually owned by a Thai union, like a Thai shrimp union.
Okay.
Stock Talk, I know you go
They
to
will
Red.
have decent enough synergy, but they were wrong about that.
Stock Talk has gone to Red Lobster once a week.
But Dyson did a good job at selling Red Lobster.
I don't think they can hear me on the spaces.
Yeah, they did. I mean, their cheddar biscuits were, as a kid, I mean, I would have those like once every year, on a family, on someone's birthday.
All right, I'm going to leave the space and come back into it. I am not going to get brought back up, though.
As a kid, I mean, I would have those like once every year, on a family, on someone's birthday. But those are to kill for.
To be honest, I do still overeat them sometimes.
All right. Well, I would, unfortunately, I don't think we can do it anymore. But hopefully, they get taken over. Just going back to the Fed minutes. I think that if we see, 2 or 3 prints, on the core CPI and the core PCE, you see those
all right,
prints
chat.
going
I
below
have a call coming up in 5 minutes, so I'm going to end this YouTube live stream here. I think this was fantastic. We actually killed it on this one. We peaked at 120 concurrent viewers. Probably with 140 watch hours this wound up being at. I appreciate you all for being here. This was a fantastic chat. Paul and Crage, and with Ollie and Nick and everyone else in here. Let's go back. I'd like to shout you guys out. Next Gen, Wiju HD. I don't know how to say that one. King of Goose came in here for a little bit. Scrolling up, Emperor Door, Red Bull Max, P Thang, Ollie, Mo Love 59, Trade Intuition, Daking Julius, Kevin Johnson, Callie, Mr. Bradley Reed, Anon, etc. All these people came in and said hi in the chat today. I really appreciate each and every single one of you. Daniel, one Gezot, Jeffrey, Johnny Boy Hikes in here again. There we go. Alien Watch, Jim. I missed some of these comments. Damn. Oh well. It is what it is. It is what it is. Zion, Moses. Not that Moses. Taibawa. Jib. And we're at the chat doesn't go all the way to the top. That's how awesome you guys were today. Love it. I appreciate each and every single one of you. Yeah, Paul, Crage, Next Gen, I appreciate you guys still being in here. I'm going to be live tomorrow morning. Let's say 8:45 a.m. Eastern. We'll talk some more NVIDIA. Hopefully we'll have Kevin in here and he'll share some of his thoughts as well. But I really, really appreciate each and every single one of you. If you're still in here and not subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? Subscribe. And hit that bell button as well. Yeah, that will send you notifications whenever I go live or anything like that. But gained a couple subs. Gained a couple watch hours. We're ending the stream at 135.4 watch hours, Paul. This was a productive day. Awesome. Like I said, I really appreciate each and every single one of you. I'm just very just thankful that I get to do this type of thing as a job and talk with you people. So I'm trying my best to continue improving and getting better and just bringing as much content as I can to you all. And any feedback, anything like that is always very welcomed. Even constructive criticism, I can take it well. But yeah, I will catch you all later. I appreciate each and every single one of you guys. Thank you for supporting me and helping me do what I do. All the free stuff that you guys do is like way more than enough. No one needs to come in and pay for anything. But yeah, so thank you guys. Appreciate you. I've said that 10 times now, so I'm just going to end the stream and call it there. But thank you guys. See you tomorrow, Nick. and peace.